I don't get it.
Talk Sport.
With your headlines at 1 minute past 10, I'm Nick Allaby. Good morning. As the FA's detailed inquest into Thomas Tuchel's World Cup performance gets underway, the head coach suggests weakness in English football's DNA is why the players struggle to keep hold of the ball.
He's been in circa 18 months, so surely if that's the problem, or you've noticed that as a problem, it's your responsibility, I imagine, as the manager and your coaching team, to improve upon that.
Sean Dyche says the players have to take some responsibility as well. It's understood the FA fully backed Tuchel to stay on till the Euros. His 2-year contract extension from January does have a performance clause in it, though. Now, after Troy Deeney said Jordan Pickford was not a top-level goalkeeper, Ben Foster says England's number one wasn't really at fault for Enzo's equaliser, but his lack of height counted against him.
A taller goalkeeper doesn't take that look round John Stones and they look over. But with different sized goalkeepers, you get different abilities. You know, like I say, the save that Jordan makes just before the hydration break down to his right, a taller goalkeeper struggles to make that save because it's so close to your leg. It's really hard to get down there.
Foster says Pickford had a 6 out of 10 OK World Cup. Now, Arsenal and other interested parties have been told Julian Alvarez is not going anywhere this summer. The Argentina forward says he wants to join Barcelona. And at the Open, surprise overnight leader Jackson Suber's just dropped 3 shots. He's back down to 3 under. Englishman Matt Wallace has shot up to share the lead on 4 under. Scotty Scheffler says he's in a good spot going into the second round today. The defending champion is on 2 under.
If I continue to strike the ball the way I did and just keep giving myself the looks, that's part of it. You know, golf is played over 72 holes, and I definitely liked what I saw today.
Scheffler tees off just after 3 p.m. Every shot from Royal Birkdale this weekend is live over on talkSPORT 2.
talkSPORT News.
Andy Burnham's promising to fix things politics has neglected. And as the hot weather continues, drivers are warned to expect the busiest summer on the roads in 4 years. Amelia's back at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Cloud hanging around over North Sea coast. Otherwise, dry day, sunny spells, warm again, hot in the southwest.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
Good morning, this is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 1 for the final time for this World Cup here on talkSPORT. Where this morning? That's the last time I'm going to be saying that. Where this morning, Andy? What's coming up?
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, we'll look ahead to Sunday's final with Spanish football expert Terry Gibson and Argentinian footballer Sergio Torres. Stan Collymore will also join us. Thomas Tuchel questions England's DNA, how dare he, and Arsenal's former head of sports science on how their season impacted their Players' World Cup.
We're also interested in the petty ways in which you'll be getting right behind Spain this weekend. And Adrian Durham tells us whether the England coach can rebuild trust with the fans, the media, and indeed his players.
There's all this, plus former Newcastle manager Steve Bruce on coping with criticism as a boss. And we'll bid a fond farewell to our creatures of the night, as well as some clips of the week.
Yeah, that's right. So we revert to our regular 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock slot after the World Cup on Monday. But for the last time, it is good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Jacobs.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, how you feeling then? How you've had a bit more sleep on it now? You're a bit more zen?
I was fairly zen about it anyway, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm angry at the banners, though. I'm annoyed. You know,
well, not Eric Banner and his family.
No,
Okay.
the Malvinas Falklands banner. I thought it was pretty pathetic. But then
it was quite nice to see a shonky banner. Most banners, they're like teeth. They call them teeth.
Well,
I mean, it was nice to see somebody had gone out.
Dodgy teeth.
Somebody had gone out with and bought a sheet and a yard broom and just painted some words on it. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't often see. It's all so sophisticated. We live in a sophisticated world, but it's good that someone can still go out. Go to Brentford Nylons. There is a branch in Buenos Aires. I mean, it's the only surviving. It's like the CNA in Prague. It's the only surviving branch, isn't it? Yeah. Go to Brentford Nylons, get a nice sheet. Then get yourself around the general store. Go around War's. They've got a War's there as well.
They did have a Harrods in Buenos Aires for a long time.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Harrods in Buenos Aires?
Yeah.
I mean, when their peso goes nuts, when they have mad inflation, if you went in there in the Harrods and sort of wanted to buy something, it cost about 60 billion pesos, wouldn't it? Turn up with a wheelbarrow.
And it hasn't been that. It's close to about 30 years.
Now, how petty are you going to be? I'll be honest about this. My youngest lad's going to pop round and watch the final. And I thought I'd get some beers. Him and have a couple of beers, watch the game. So I looked at the old shop, and we had in some bits of the shop to pick up. And Peronis are a good price. I thought, yeah, fair enough. I might get some Peronis. They slip down. You know, other beers are available, etc.
Oh, yeah.
But then I saw Cruz Campo, and thought, no, I'm having them. I'm having a Spanish beer. Okay, it might be brewed in
Beckham's children.
It might be Cruz Campo.
I like him.
It might be brewed in Burton or quite possibly Romford. But I don't care. It's Spanish enough for me.
It's all a bit childish, though. I mean,
Can I get a case of Quilmes in? I was wondering. They've got it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice beer.
I know. But apparently...
Get some Argentinian beer in instead.
The Sun say, you've never ordered an RG lager in your life, have you? Probably because they're mierda. That's not true.
No, they're not. It's a good beer.
It's a good beer. And the same thing with this. It says, Benidorm's better than Buenos Aires. I don't want to fly 16 hours for an empanada with less taste than a Findus crispy pancake.
A Fispy?
Yeah. It could have been worse.
Well, look,
Findus crispy pancake. I mean, honestly.
What paper's this?
The Sun. The Buenos Aires is one of the food cities of the world. I mean,
but this is what I mean. Don't put logic into this conversation.
Even in
it's petty.
The Times. In the editorial, the venerable editorial of the Times, Vamos España. Argentina's contact makes it impossible to remain neutral. About Sunday's final.
We saw one of the supermarkets earlier in the tournament. I think it was Aldi, wasn't it, who took all their Malbec off the shelves before the game. So you can't beat a bit of pettiness. We know it's pathetic. It's like, again, if I'm pressing buttons on a Spanish beer, that's how petty it's got.
You won't beat this for pettiness.
Yeah.
The Football Association issued a legal warning to Iceland supermarkets after it temporarily renamed 3 of its supermarkets England before the World Cup semi-final. The FA lawyers said stunts in the hometowns of Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham and Jordan Pickford could have damaged the national team's reputation.
Wow.
Well, I'd say Thomas Tuchel did that, mate. I wouldn't worry about Iceland's supermarkets. Yeah. Honestly, the FA, they're quite pathetic, aren't they? And why would they do that? Just a bit of fun, humour. And for Tuchel to blame English DNA, it's almost worse than his decision to bring Konza on for Gordon. I mean, seriously, what's that got to do with our DNA?
Yeah.
And even if Michael Owen made some very good points about that and said, look, we have done this in the past. We did this when I was playing. All right, that's what we paid you £5 million for, not to tell us that we knew that already, mate.
Thank you, Andy. That's Andy from Chiswick, still very upset after that defeat.
That is annoying. Just admit you're wrong. That's it.
There was a good line from Sam Wallace in the Telegraph today. He was talking about England struggling to keep the ball in those moments. He said, do you think of some of the great players we've got who can keep the ball? Foden and Palmer. He said, the thing is, he just chose not to bring them.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we've got plenty of players in our squad who can keep the ball as well. So it is a bit of a spurious point. We'll have a chat with our Stan Collymore later on, who was over there watching England in action at the World Cup. Adrian Durham will join us as well. His recent daily, he brought back the Daily Arsenal a couple of days ago, and it wound up the Arsenal fans. He'll be qualifying that, I'm sure. But we will be chatting to their former head of sports science, and there is no doubting that just the amount of football those guys played. I mean, I think physically and emotionally, it was a massive season for Arsenal last season. Getting to that Champions League final and losing it, winning the league, finally getting over the line, just the sheer amount of games,
the
60 odd games.
2 or 3 years of trying to do it and everything. Yeah, I think understands that.
So the head of sports, you can do so much in sports science to get people ready. But when someone's flogged, they're flogged, and we will chat about it.
And it's not a physical thing; it's a mental.
I think it's a bit of everything.
Yeah, but it's especially a mental thing.
Well, we're going to have a chat about that later on. Sergio Torres is back. We spoke to him, the former Crawley and Peterborough player, a bit of an FA Cup hero back in the day when they played Manchester United in the FA Cup. Sergio works over for Borussia Dortmund over in Spain these days as running one of their academies. So he's going to rejoin us. His kids were in their formative years brought up in England, and he did admit there was a bit of a split in the household. So we'll see how the game panned out. He's a big Boca fan as well. So we'll chat to him ahead of the final, see what he made of the performance, and to kind of get a bit of a distance on England's performance from him. As we said, Stan Collymore joining us. Terry Gibson from a Spanish angle. He's bound to weigh in on England as well. And as we said, Adrian joining us. I think Max Scott is going to be out and about asking some questions of fans today and whether they will be supporting Spain or Argentina. We may find some Argentina fans who've let bygones be bygones. I think most people will be Spanish, won't they?
Even me, I'm supporting Spain.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I was quite
absolutely.
shocked.
I mean, I love Argentina, but I just felt that whole bit afterwards, I think, was pretty poor.
I'm talking about pettiness today. You've got a little, is it a Maradona doll or a Messi doll you've got?
Well, it's a sort of messy.
It's a messy doll.
Yeah, it's a messy doll.
And you took your frustrations out on the Messi doll. We've got some pictures here. Look, he punched it in the face. We're going to see the full fist.
That's a very good
watching on
hook.
YouTube. And then he hit it with, what is that? That's a sort of steak mallet.
That says everything about my wife. That is
you tenderised.
That is her birthday present.
What, you bought your wife a steak mallet?
I said to her, what do you want for your birthday? And that is what she wanted.
A steak mallet?
I don't ask me.
Well, they're not expensive, are they?
I know. She's very easily pleased.
Did you get her anything else?
No. That's what she wanted.
Yeah, tightwad you are, aren't you?
I don't know.
I mean, you could have
took her out.
a few. You could have had a few.
I don't understand it as a present. I mean, I like
extras.
I like it as a concept.
Did you
It's a
take
very
her to
good
that cheap Thai place? Is that where you took her?
No.
Andy's found a place near him that's like Forbes Halfpenny for a good Thai. There's nothing wrong with that, but a steak mallet and a cheap Thai. How many years you been married?
51.
You want to put your back into it if you want to make 52. Dear me.
Absolute nonsense.
So anyway, so yeah, we're going to hear from you. I'm always happy to hear from you. How petty are you going to be this weekend? What's the plan? You're going to dress as a matador for the whole game?
That should be on Talk Boxing, that left hook. It's sensational.
Yeah, it's a good shot. I like the way you've twisted the arm as it goes in. Back in the day when you went to Spain, I remember going there the first time when I was about 7 and coming back with a kind of matador's outfit.
I'd love to see you in that.
There must be pictures. I mean, it was some sort of thing you bought. I mean, I thought, when was going to get any wear out of it? I mean, sort of wandering around sort of flats in North London dressed as a matador would have seemed very, very strange.
Utter bullfight.
Going into school on the Monday, cock of the walk. Oh, I've just got back from Spain. What do you think of my new look? I think in the vernacular of those days, I would have got my head kicked in.
I just want to do this letter though, because during the World Cup, these texts have continued. I just haven't had time to really read them. This one fascinates me.
Yeah.
Great news that Gary Lineker has finally found his calling in life by hosting a Z-list game show, The Box.
Yeah.
Says Phantom Texter. Okay, let's have a look at the evidence. Top player here in Europe, record England scorer at the time, top TV presenter, owner of a multi-million-pound podcast business versus a bloke who writes to the Star.
Yeah.
Tremendous. The self-awareness is fantastic.
Doesn't need a lot of weighing up, does it? How petty are you? I'm going to watch the game dressed as a Spanish galleon, says Christy. Is that what you wore for the London Marathon, Chris?
Yes, that's one of those things you run in a boat.
Yeah, I've binned off all the Frey Bentos pies in my kitchen cupboard. To be fair, they were 4 years out of date. Sabor beer from Lidl.
That's no point. They're from Uruguay.
Yeah.
Frey Bentos is in
Uruguay. You haven't thought it through, have you?
Don't take it out on Uruguay. They were terrible.
This is Chris in Simford. He has bought some Sabor beer from Lidl, which is brewed in Spain, not Romford.
Okay.
But look, it's little victories, isn't it? Little victories.
Yeah,
that's what we're looking for,
yeah.
as Norman Stanley Fletcher used to say. We were meant to watch the final with our good friends Archie and Tina, but they have been disinvited.
Archie.
They're not welcome anymore, said Simon. TalkSPORT.com.
There is a couple like that.
Gone out, bought Spanish beers and a selection of tapas. says Tony the Welt man on a sunny Bognor Beach. I thought you'd be eating your own winkles, wouldn't you, Tony? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Talksport.com, text 81089.
Tap us it about at the back. Yeah. Might have been better. Scotland fans have celebrated the Argentina win.
Oh, yeah, well, you'd expect
Who cares?
them to.
I don't understand. So why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I've got absolutely no problem with that. It's football banter. What's the problem with it? I was delighted when they came home.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but I love Scotland. It's got nothing to do with it. It's football. But why can't people understand that?
That's right. Don't get upset about this stuff. How petty are you going into the final this weekend? Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet to TSH&J. Sergio Torres would probably have Archie and Tina to come round if they want to fly to Mallorca. We'll catch up with him next. Hugo Chambray, though, has done rather well. He's up at the Open, watching it all unfold for TalkSport. Well done, Hugo. How's it going?
Yeah, well, speaking of pettiness, I don't know if you saw, there's only one Argentinian in the field at the 154th Open, Matteo Pulcini, and he made a birdie putt from 40 feet on the 18th hole yesterday and gave it the Enzo Fernandez, cupped both his ears. I'm not sure that went down particularly well with the Northwest crowd.
Don't shout four if he's playing in front of you guys, if Justin Rose is listening. Just off the back of his nut, that would be fair. He'll be all right. He slightly concussed, that's all he can live with that.
I think that'd be entirely appropriate. Rory McIlroy has just teed off on the first. He is in just the left-hand light rough, not a bad tee shot. He was all over the place yesterday, missed 3 putts within 4 feet, had to birdie the 18th hole just to shoot 2 over par. If he can get things going today, he might be able to get himself in the mix to win a first Open Championship since 2014. He's playing with Matt Fitzpatrick, who's also 2 over, and Xander Schauffele, the 2024 champion, is 1 over par. Shane Lowry, it's just worth mentioning, birdied his first hole to take him to 2 under, and that is just 2 shots back of the lead, which is held by Matt Wallace and Jackson Suber currently.
The Open Championship update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan.
We're not petty enough not to have an Argentinian join us today. Sergio Torres returns. We'll be chatting to him in a few moments' time. We're here with our very good friends at Selco Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go. He seems to be in the fact that it was kind of a premeditated idea by Gabriel Clark to ask a question in a divisive way. You know him, you've done this job, so what did you make of the interview and what do you make of all the fallout from it?
Well, straight after the interviews, I sent Gabriel a text and I said, a masterclass in the art of post-match interviewing. And I would stand by that now. Gabriel's not a sensationalist. He's not out for headlines. He will look you in the eye and ask a straight question. Having been in that situation, I think he might have been slightly surprised when Tuchel came and said we were poor and we didn't do this and we didn't do that. That might have surprised him slightly, and he threw the mentality line in that Tuchel bit his head off about. But those situations, you've got a limited amount of time. There's no way that you're going to go, I'm going to ask him this and wind him up here, and then I'll get Bellingham, and by the way, what a story that's going to be. That's not Gabriel. Gabriel's the best in the business at doing that by a considerable margin and has been for many years. And when Gabriel put it to him, your manager wasn't very happy overall, and he shrugged his shoulders and said, whatever. Fine.
Do you think Gabriel could have qualified it a bit more? Maybe in hindsight, he thinks if he'd said the manager wasn't happy with performance, not in terms of effort, maybe in terms of quality, you can play better than that as a team.
I think you and everyone that's ever asked a question would look back and go, perhaps I could have asked that question a bit better. But in the heat of the moment there, in those bowels, when the adrenaline is still running, it was a straightforward, it was honest bit of interviewing. It wasn't tricky. And I was thinking about it coming in here. There's been nothing from the England camp.
No drama, is there?
There's been nothing. There's been no fights. There's been no drunks. There's been no women. There's been nothing untoward. And I think a lot of people jumped on this. Here's a bit of division here, Bellingham and Tuchel, etc., etc. There's a bit of history there, and I think it has been blown up out of all proportion.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
Good morning, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. A couple of days back in the build-up to the game against Argentina, we chatted to Sergio Torres, the former Crawley and Wickham player, FA Cup hero back in the day. He was telling us about his preparations for the game. Well, it's done and dusted now, so we return to Mallorca, where he works for, amongst others, Borussia Dortmund these days. Sergio, hi.
Hi, Paul and Andy. Good morning.
Congratulations, we say, through gritted teeth.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I know how you feel. We've been there quite a few times over quite a few World Cups, especially losing the final against Germany in 2014. That's the main one that it hurt us Argentinian a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy. It was absolutely mental, especially the last 15 minutes. So I'm pleased that my country went through, but I feel sorry for all my English friends.
As a player and an Argentinian, Sergio, were you surprised, as many of the Argentinian players were, including Lionel Messi, just how deep England dropped and how they handed the initiative to Argentina?
I honestly, I could not believe it. It was straight away as soon as they scored. I thought Argentina started better the second half. The first half was just a fight. Both teams, it was very, very physical. There wasn't much football. I don't think it was maybe one shot or two shots. But the second half, I thought we started stronger, and then England scored in the counter-attack, a great goal. But I honestly, I've been a footballer as well, and sometimes you end up dropping deep because the game takes you there. But I thought England were at the edge of the box straight away from the minute 55, and then I thought it was they could have pushed a bit higher. So of course we were happy because we had control of the game, total control. But it's one of these games where, as a player, you're thinking, and as a fan, of course, I'm thinking, I don't think the ball is going in today. Hit the both posts, Pickford made some great saves, and it's not going to happen. But with the quality of the players, you might have one chance, and that's what happened. Yeah,
it is. And that hydration break was a great opportunity for Tuchel to do something about it. A very interesting point made by one of our writers ahead of the game. He said, "This Argentina may not be littered with star names, but and superstars, well, they've obviously got the best superstar, but they have a mentality, a fearsome backbone, and the greatest ever player, which is why they'll be England's toughest possible opponents."
Yeah.
And that's true, isn't it?
This is a team that never knows when they're beaten. You could see them easily going 1-0 down to Spain, and generally that's it. If you go 1-0 down to Spain, the way they play and the way they keep the ball. But even then, you wouldn't rule Argentina out to get back into it.
It is crazy, and I think it comes a lot from our manager and our the assistant manager and all the team, all the coaching team at Argentina. They humble people, and they fighters, and they believe the way they used to play their game as well, and then they transmit that into the players. And the players, of course, they have tough backgrounds. A high percentage of Argentinian players have tough growing ups, and you can see in their attitude, and they believe that they never die until the last moment. And of course, if you got Messi in your team, the quality. That's another thing I couldn't believe how England lets him. Like, they had few warnings when they put some unbelievable crosses that McAllister nearly scored, and then don't put someone closer to him, because if something's going to happen for us, it was going to come from the magic man that we have. So I was surprised with that. But of course, that fighting spirit, I think, is, as a nation, we have it. And then, we could have lost 1-0. And like the manager said, and we congratulate the other team. But, it was, I don't know, Enzo Fernandez popped on with that amazing strike. So, it was craziness for us.
You're in Spain. How are they looking at Sunday's final? Are they optimistic?
Yeah, of course. I'm hearing the radio in Spain every day here, and I'm talking to a few friends. And it's true what they say. They got the team, footballing-wise, they got the best team, I think. They, they show against France and against Portugal. Once they get the ball, it's really hard to take it. So it's going to be a tough game for us. I think they're going to keep mainly the ball, and Argentina's going to wait at the beginning. Hopefully not so deep like England, but we're going to take the game, I think, longer. Our team is a bit older. They got a day-long rest. It's going to be an interesting match, and they're confident, but we, of course, we have to be confident. We're defending the title, so yeah.
Do you think that they'll be as fired up as they were against England? I mean, you could see before the game how much they were and how physical they were. Do you think they'll do that, try and kick Spain off the park in the first 15 minutes?
That's an interesting point, I really hope they are aggressive, but I don't think they're going to be as aggressive as they were with England. Like the manager said before, it's just a game, but for the players, for the fans, it's not just a game. It was more than that. And then, well, you can see it in the fighting. I really hope they are aggressive, and then within the limits, and then don't do any silliness, because a man down in a World Cup final is it's gonna be. And that was my worry, like against England as well, that the emotions will get you to that point. But luckily we have a few yellow cards, but luckily no reds.
Yes, a European ref. I imagine he's going to be a lot stricter than the guy we saw the other night, because Enzo Fernandez could easily have gone for that elbow on Anderson. But just finally, Sergio, you said the other day your kids spent their formative years in England and they wanted England to win. But now are they going to get behind the old man's team? How are they feeling at the weekend?
I really hope, but because we've been living in Spain for 5 years now, and all the friends are Spanish. So now I got 50-50 again. So it's another argument, but I said to them, just leave me alone in my house, and then just go and watch it wherever you want, because Daddy was swearing a bit on the other day, and they didn't see me like that, before. No. Like, well, 4 years ago when we in the final against France, and the game against Holland as well, it was a crazy game. So I really hope they're going to be supporting me this time.
Good stuff. Sergio, good to talk to you again. All the best. Thanks very much.
Okay, Paul and Andy. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the call. Bye-bye.
Sergio Torres there, out in Mallorca, former Peterborough, Wickham and Crawley player. So make sure you tune in to the latest talkSPORT World Cup Daily podcast. Alex Crook and Troy Deeney got together. More England fallout, discussing whether we will ever see England lift the World Cup. Charlie Baker says he's at peace with it now. He's written it off. He doesn't expect to see it in his lifetime.
Oh,
He's
really?
still a relatively young man.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Listen on the talkSPORT app, all of your favourite podcast providers now. We'll be chatting to Stan Collymore in this hour of the show. We'll bid farewell to our fantastic nocturnal army of creatures of the night.
Great job there.
With a best of in a few moments' time.
to go, mate. I'm sorry, Jeff. Like, when we are paying £8 million for a foreign coach to come in and win us our first trophy since 1966, and that's what he does in a semi-final for an Argentinian side that were there for the taking, and to do what he did, 10 times worse than anything Southgate's ever done negatively. I'm sorry, he has to go, mate. Simple as that. The FA have to make a decision, and I just didn't like his interview, the arrogance of his interview, no regrets. Yes, you have got regrets, mate. You've got regrets. There was loads of trouble after the game across the country. Everyone was together. And that's on you, Thomas Tuchel. That's on you. The negativity, cowardly tactics. You can't blame the players. I'm hearing people say, Jeff, that, the players on the pitch have got to make decisions. There's some experience. No, you listen to your coach. Your coach tells you to play a certain formation. You listen to him.
Yeah.
He has to go. Simple as that. No foreign coach ever won the World Cup. Maybe for a reason. We've given it a go now again with a foreign coach, and that's what he's done.
I mean, Alan here has just tested the same sort of thing you were saying. So Tuchel's shortcomings have been exposed. What about the players' shortcomings? Well, look, the players, we've got 6 defenders on. We've got 4 central defenders on at the end for the cross that Messi puts into Laura Martinez. So, yes, I get that. But ultimately, the can has to be carried by the coach, especially with the negativity. I mean, look, everybody said this, but the negative. Anthony Gordon is flying. We scored a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. You'll have loved, the fact that Kane, Declan Rice, who's soon to come off as well, Morgan Rogers, and a lovely finish to Anthony Gordon. And Gordon's feeling 10 feet tall, so what do? Oh, we'll take him off.
He's considered one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. But the story of Lev Yashin could have ended early were it not for a phone call and a friendly. In 1963, the Soviet Union's man between the sticks was seriously considering retirement. The World Cup in Chile the year before went badly wrong for him. But as he's about to hang up his gloves, he gets a call from Fernando Riera, the man who managed the Chile team that beat him in the World Cup 12 months before. Riera's managing a rest of the world side in a centenary game for the English Football Association and tells Yashin, I want you. I mean, look at this team. There's Yashin, and there's Eusebio, Di Stefano, Law, and Puskás. England puts out pretty much their main international side, led by Blackpool's Jimmy Armfield, and also featuring Moore, Charlton, Greaves, the men who'd go on to claim glory in '66. Yashin plays the first 45 minutes and, as you can see, he was busy. At half-time, he goes off injured, but he's kept a clean sheet. The match, broadcast back home in the Soviet Union, proves to the people that Yashin is still the best of the best. Returning home a national hero again convinces him that he has one more World Cup in him. And at that tournament in '66, the Soviet Union came fourth, their best ever World Cup finish.
Good morning, it's Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on Talks. Won't be saying good morning for much longer. This is our final 10 to 1 show. We swap back with Jim and Simon from Monday after the World Cup, back to our regular 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock slot. One of the joys of doing the World Cup for you has been the creatures of the night. A little idea we had because there were so many games taking place, sometimes at 4 o'clock in the morning, we thought, well, we can't be watching all of these early starts and all that. And a lot of the listeners will be missing out as well. So some of those people that are a bit of a nocturnal beast, if they're sort of shift workers or whatever, or they just insomniacs, would they watch the games for us and give us little mini reports? And boy, did they step up, Andy, didn't they? We should salute every man and woman, Jack, of you. Thank you very much for doing it for us. So we thought we would salute the creatures of the night now with a little best of their fine work during this World Cup.
Good morning, and it's Matt here.
My name's Hash. Good morning, everyone. My name's Ross.
Javid here.
Was Kabani.
Myself, Mick, who's a Liverpool supporter, and my significant other, Kay.
Hola. High pressure game, high pressure stakes. I had a nosebleed. I think it's from all the build-up of this big clash. 2 a.m. in the morning in Norfolk. Let's hope for a cracker.
It's the kind of game I can't believe that they've scheduled this for 3 a.m. I mean, this is just... What more could you possibly want of a World Cup? I mean, this is what it's all about, isn't it? Isn't it?
Not sure how this game is going to go because I never make predictions. I never have, and I never will.
Sit back and enjoy.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, and whoa. Could we have a surprise in store?
Well. Turkey have taken the lead. Another well-worked goal.
Oh my word, what a finish by Yasin Ayari. Absolutely leathered it into the back of the net.
Yeah, Egypt. Oh, crikey. Nearly 4-1. Great save by Croton there. Egypt were nearly out of sight.
Well.
Wow, the Aztecas just erupted. 1-0 Mexico. The place goes wild.
Well.
Go for Colombia! Let's go, let's party!
The game isn't very interesting, and I wish I were asleep. Other than that, it's a wonderful experience.
Not a lot to add, really, apart from we've had our first Mexican wave, which is probably more entertaining than the fare put on offer on the pitch.
I'm going to have a 15-minute disco nap, and I'll catch you for the second half.
I'm off to get coffee and a croissant, although I would prefer a tequila.
I feel delirious already, and there's 2 hours to go.
I get a show too loud, I don't think the neighbours are watching it. And our lass, definitely, and she's upstairs in bed. I can't believe it.
My goodness, this is the best game I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Best game of the World Cup. I know it's only the second game. There's nothing that can top this.
First shot on target for Uzbekistan, and they've scored. They'll be celebrating all over Uzbekistan for that one. That's the game over, should be now. 3-1 Uzbekistan.
Oh my God, we've done it. I'm crying. England defended like gladiators. I've lost my voice. I've drank so much coffee. It's 4:05. I'm crying.
Well.
Nobody saw that coming.
Timber's taken one of the most worst penalties you'll ever see. Oh my, you have to see this penalty miss.
I'm off to get more coffee.
Signing off. Now it's time to go get some shut-eye and get some sleep.
Thank you for joining the Marrakesh Express. All change. We're now on our way to Houston. Woo woo.
Adios.
Yeah, brilliant.
That was great.
And well done to our assistant producer, George.
Yeah, well done putting that together. There was a lot of stuff to put together there, but they were the takeaway. Our creature of the night called him Uzbekistan. I used to play cricket with a man called Uzbekistan, and the other one was well. He kept doing that. I was just like, yeah. Anyway, thanks to everybody who was a creature of the night.
Right? She sounded like Harry Kane.
Yeah,
that was it. That was the one where she just basically volunteered her services, wasn't it?
Yeah. So thank you to everybody who did that. I doubt we'll ever get a chance to do it again. Really.
No,
let's be honest.
Not really.
So it was a one-off, and you were part of that. So thank you ever so much for doing it. Now we bring you some good news. Commonwealth Games just around the corner. More live sport before the football season starts, and we're delighted to say talkSPORT will be one of the broadcasters of the tournament. Greg Rutherford, Olympic gold medalist, will be one of our experts.
Yeah.
Lewis Richardson.
It's a first for commercial radio.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. We're really pleased. And Lewis Richardson on the boxing. And our next guest, we've been doing this long enough to have chatted to our next guest just after she got a gold medal, which is about, 18 years ago, I now believe.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Christina Huragu joins us. Hi, Christine.
Hi, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're still getting away with it. We're still here. And we still keep in touch with Hugo, your old schoolmate. I contact him now and again. He's that's right. Christine went to school. One of our team on the show went off to become. He's a school teacher these days. Christine, I don't know if you ever run into him.
No. Oh, Hugo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. He was your sister's mate as well, wasn't he? Is that right, or was he your friend?
No. So remember, well, there's 8 of us in my family, so. I'm not quite sure which brother he would have known, but he was definitely in my year.
Yeah. Well, it's great that we're going to be part of this. You've got happy memories of Commonwealth Games and of Glasgow last time around because you medalled there, didn't you?
Yes, I medalled both in Melbourne 06, 20 years ago now, and Glasgow 2014. So, yeah, really good memories about the Commonwealth Games.
And it's been a troubled build-up, hasn't it? I mean, Scotland have come in very late. Guys are coming very late to take it on. But I suppose once it gets underway, that'll all be parked.
Yeah, I think usually, I mean, in the lead up to any big games, there are always kind of, teething problems and a few naysayers. But I think once it gets on, once the excitement is built and the athletes are outperforming and people have their countries to support, I think all those teething problems tend to dissipate and people just get on with the games because ultimately it's about getting behind the athletes and supporting them and making sure that we help them to, do their best on the day.
What makes it special then as an event? Because you ran in World Championships and Olympics. What is it that's unique about Commonwealth Games?
I think the Commonwealth Games has typically been like a feeder into the Worlds and into the Olympics. I think it's great in that it opens up so many avenues for athletes to perform. For us in Great Britain, we separate into the home countries, which means you can take more athletes on, which means you're giving more opportunities for athletes to go out to perform and to really try their hand against really, really great opposition. So that's why I think it's a great competition. I like the fact that it's another home games for us. We live sports, as we mentioned earlier. So it's just a really good chance to get developing athletes up and in front of a home crowd under the pressure and being able to perform.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that it's not Great Britain. Of course, it's all
no, of
different.
course, that's right.
Which will be good for the locals, wouldn't it? They'll get behind the scores.
Yeah, that's the thing. That does, I think, ups the atmosphere when you've got people wearing a Scotland vest, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ups the rivalry a little bit, but it's all good fun. And even if somebody is competing for Wales or Scotland, we all support them. Most of us as athletes will all know each other anyway. We all compete under Great Britain for the major championships.
What are you up to these days, Christine, apart from sort of working with us on the Commonwealth Games?
Bits and pieces. So I'll be heading into Glasgow a little bit earlier to do some other work. I really do enjoy coaching, so that takes up quite a bit of my time. Not just coaching elite, but I was going to say normal people. I do believe it's important that everyone kind of understands to run well and just have good mobility, good flexibility for older years. I also do sports arbitration. I got a law degree once I retired.
Wow.
So I'm still involved in that part of the industry and many other bits and pieces.
And you wrote some children's books as well. I don't know if you're still doing those kind of.
I did. Yeah, that was after 2012, and it's something I definitely would love to revisit. I do enjoy writing a lot and talking a lot, so I need to kind of get my energy out there somehow.
Yeah. Well, look, we look forward to chatting to you during the games. Good to talk to you again, Christine. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Have a really good day.
Take care. That's Christina Huragu, the Olympic 400-metre champion and Commonwealth Games too. I think a gold, as she said,
tremendous,
and a bronze in the relay. So we look forward to chatting to Christine during the games. As Andy said, I think we're the first time a commercial broadcaster has been involved in the game. So we look forward to bringing it to you from next Thursday when the opening ceremony happens. It's Sport Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Stan Collymore will be joining us, his first opportunity to talk about the game the other night and all the fallout from it, plus the comments about England's DNA and from Thomas Tuchel. We'll get his thoughts on that. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
I wonder whether he went back, muscle memory, whether he's gone back to what happened against Mexico, where we dealt with 5 at the back and they threw things at... But this ain't Mexico.
There's 20 minutes left.
It's
20 minutes of normal time, Jace.
It's more than that.
And we had a man sent off against Mexico. You could almost accept it.
I know.
You're playing against Argentina.
Yeah.
You can't sit off for 25 minutes against Argentina. He absolutely bottled it. Thomas Tuchel's cost us the World Cup. He cost us the World Cup. We're 1-0 up. Played well first half. All right, cagey affair. We go 1-0 up. Be brave. Be brave, Thomas. This is what we brought you in for. We brought you in for this moment. We got rid of Southgate because he bottled it, because he weren't brave. We brought you in for now to make that decision. We're 1-0 up in a World Cup semi-final. Bring on Rashford. Bring on Saka. And if they score, they score. But at least we're going to go down fighting. At least we're going to go down with some pride. We fell out of the World Cup in disgrace because of him. Because of him. And we brought him in for this job. This is what we brought him in for, to get us over this line. And it's the same old England, same old crap, same old guff that I have to watch every tournament that we're in. And it's the manager's tucked us up again. Tucked us up. We're dead on our feet. Got Morgan Rogers playing right wing, Jude Bellingham on the left. Brings on Nico O'Reilly. We can't get out. Harry Kane's done nothing. He's dead. Nothing. Got nothing left.
I don't.
I can't believe it, Jace.
Well, no.
Jace, I can't believe it.
No,
it's a disgrace.
He
should be sacked. Get him out. Gone.
I totally agree. I can't believe that we've moved on from Southgate, and it was, if you look back over how we...
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
No, I don't regret it. It doesn't help if you regret anything. You take the decision in the moment.
He threw it away. Thomas Tuchel is a coward.
Thomas Tuchel tried to stay brave as long as he could.
Either he didn't believe in those players or he's cowed. There has to be a consequence for that.
Yeah.
He's a hypocrite.
But you want him gone?
I think there are more reasons to not have Tuchel than there are to keep him there.
I think it's a ridiculous statement, if I'm being honest. It would be like throwing the baby out with the bathwater at this stage. You know, he's had a tournament. He gets to understand the runnings of a tournament. I think from his perspective, I think he'll gain from that.
I still think you give him another tournament. You give him another tournament to see how, and if it goes badly again, then you give it to him.
It was a cowardice decision. We are better than that.
Everybody hurts.
Thomas Tuchel has been speaking after that defeat to Argentina. He says, I see a disconnect in what I see in training and within games. Ball possession plays a crucial role. It's maybe not in our DNA like the Spanish, Argentinians or Brazilians. And then there's that pretty damning stat that in the 18-minute spell before they conceded the equaliser, England completed, wait for it, 3 passes. 2 of those with a little brief exchange between Stones and Pickford. The other hit O'Reilly on the back of the head and went for an Argentinian throw-in. Stan Collymore joins
Everything
us.
would be fine if he was a pundit and not the England manager.
Yeah. Hi, Stan.
Hey, Paul, Andy, how are you?
Yes.
So,
bit unhappy.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a kind of, a lot has been said, but we've not heard your take on it. What's your take on what happened with England in those closing stages?
Yeah, disappointing. I mean, I think if you go 1-0 up against anybody, I've played in enough games and I've watched enough games, particularly playing, is that I've heard everybody from Cesc Fabregas say, he makes positive substitutions because if you make defensive ones, England players or whichever team it is, have the mentality that, okay, we're trying to sit on something. To Martina Navratilova saying, if you go in with a sort of loser negative mentality, by making those substitutions, you're more often than not going to lose. And these are, elite level athletes as well. So you should pay them some heed. I think actually the truth is somewhere in between. I think that we do have the technically talented players. That's been proven over months and months, if not years, in some of the world's toughest leagues. I do think there was something in when you drop off so much and you allow a 39-year-old Messi, Enzo Fernandez to effectively start peppering your goal with shots and crosses, that there's inevitability about the outcome. So we could have been braver in some of the substitutions that we made. But it was the most interesting comments were from Graham Souness about Elliot Anderson and Declan Rice. And I think he's completely wrong. And I'm a massive Graham Souness fan in terms of his career, Liverpool legend, won European Cups, etc., etc. But he effectively said they can't play or they can't travel with the ball. Both can. Mm. You saw one of England's goals. It was Declan Rice, wasn't it, that bombed down the right-hand side?
Can.
He got the ball, travelled very well. I think popped it to Bukayo Saka, put the ball in the box, and I think it was Jude Bellingham in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Elliot Anderson, I have seen many times break lines and play little through balls and passes. Now, whether or not they were instructed to or not, whether or not by their own volition they decided to sit back and camp on their own 18-yard box, you're going to have to ask them. But I think that the most important thing moving forward as we go into a Euros and the next 4-year cycle about a World Cup in Spain, Portugal and Morocco is having a central midfield player that can pick the ball up on the centre spot and travel with it on a regular basis past 2 or 3 players to the opponent's D. And until we do that, and until we find that player or give a current player that kind of confidence, we're not going to get out of dodge when we have 5 or 10 minute spells against teams like Argentina, Brazil, Germany, Italy and Spain to be able to buy us some time. Some people would say Jude Bellingham is that man. Jude Bellingham can't be making tackles on the edge of his own 18-yard box, pop up on the halfway line making challenges and pop up in the box scoring goals. He just cannot do that. So he needs a little bit of respite, and whether that's Declan Rice, whether that's Elliot Anderson, whether that's a return for Phil Foden, whether that's Cole Palmer playing as a 10, whether that's Morgan Rogers, somebody needs to dominate the central tranche of the pitch because we do not historically do that well.
I want to ask Stan, what do you make of Tuchel's failure to admit that he got it wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's a stubborn man, isn't he? I mean, that's kind of like if we'd have won the game, and as we've won some of the other games, I was out there for all but one, and we played well for the second half of the Croatia game. I think that's pretty much common knowledge now. Most England watchers would say that was the one game where we played well. He made positive substitutions and we're on the front foot. But Thomas Tuchel is a prickly guy that believes in the way that he does things, which is why the FA gave him the contract that he did. But he's also fallible, like every coach. People are now making the clamour for Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola's, style of football wasn't good enough with all the riches of Abu Dhabi to win the Premier League this year against a relatively functional set-piece FC, Arsenal FC. So the notion that Pep Guardiola or anybody else is just going to walk in and sprinkle a little bit of magic dust over these players, I think is erroneous. And I would agree with the skipper, Stuart Pearce, on this, is that we are a nation of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We've got to numerous semi-finals. We've got to a couple of semi-finals. St George's Park is serving us well in terms of creating a pathway for talent. So for me, Thomas Tuchel gets the Euros, probably the World Cup. And if he goes away and looks at all the games and looks at the 12% possession after England's opening goal against Argentina, he would acknowledge that on the side, both him and Anthony Barry should have said, right, okay, we're going to make one attacking substitution. Marcus, you're the outlet. Give it to Rashford. Let's get out 10, 15 yards. Let's keep Messi and Fernandes 15, 20 yards further from our goal. And then we build the game from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a prickly customer, as we know, and he didn't take kindly at some of the questions in the post-match press conference. He's now going to have 2 years of this then. And, because I think trust has been lost, belief has been lost amongst a lot of England fans. So, and that's going to be mirrored.
The players didn't seem like they were that.
That's going to be mirrored in the press. So I think we're going in for a rough old ride in every press conference with every performance.
Yeah, that's going to come with every job. And I think that the legitimate criticism goes all the way back to performances against Senegal at the City Ground, lost, Japan, lost. So we have lost games, even in this journey. It hasn't all been sort of wine and roses, and then we get to the Final Four and the wheels fall off. There are functional issues and problems that every team has to face and come across. But he will earn his corn by now looking back at the games, along with Anthony Barry, that I think is an excellent coach. You can see that he's really invested in wanting to make this England team better. But I think there are two things we need to now look forward to, and I think that's the most important thing, is finding somebody post-Harry Kane that is going to be a line leader. Could that be a Jude Bellingham? Could that be even a Morgan Rogers once Harry decides to hang his boots up? I think there's a major chronic lack of strikers coming through the English system. Loads of attacking wide men, a chronic lack of strikers. And the other one, and I said it right the way back to when we went to World Cups in South Africa, Brazil, European Championships 2016, 2016, World Cup since, that until we've got somebody with the confidence to be able to pick the ball up on the halfway line and pull and push and dictate and travel with the ball, I think that we're going to have lots and lots of really good parts. But I don't think we're going to... And that's why, if we look at it, that's why somebody like Paul Gascoigne, for example, is still deified almost in this country as a footballer, because he was the last player, arguably, some will say Gerrard, Lampard, did it a little bit with England, but grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck in the centre of the pitch and made the opposition worry about us rather than dropping back. So I think that's a position that we need to find. It could be Jude Bellingham, but he can't be Johnny on the spot making challenges in his own box and then going and scoring the other end 30 seconds later. He's going to need some significant help. For me, Thomas Tuchel stays because I think he's proven to be a good coach. He got it wrong big time against Argentina. I think he could have made more proactive substitutions without throwing 3 or 4 attacking substitutes on. If he realises that he'll get a better ride with some of the press guys in the next 2 years as we approach a Euros at home, on home soil, all the games or England games are going to be at Wembley, so there's going to be some favouritism around that. But more importantly, a World Cup in Spain, Portugal and Morocco that's not going to have a lot of the travel issues that we had in the United States. And this England group, or the majority of this English group, will be coming into the prime of their careers. And we should be going into those tournaments as one of, again, the 3 or 4 or 5 favourites. But for me, it's really simple. Declan Rice, Anderson, whether it be Cole Palmer, whether it be Morgan Rogers, whether it be Phil Foden, whoever the name of the person is of that central midfielder, they've got to own the central midfield better and they've got to ask more questions of the opposition when we're under the cosh from that area of the pitch.
Stan, a pleasure as always. We will catch up with you at the start of the season. All the best.
Good to speak to you.
There we are. There's Stan Collymore, the former Liverpool, Villa, Nottingham Forest, and indeed
balanced, wasn't it?
England striker. Yeah, kind of agreeing with Stuart there. It'll be interesting to see what Adrian Durham has to say in light of some of those comments from Thomas Tuchel since the game ended. Adrian's going to join us a little bit later on. Of course, he will be your host for the World Cup final on Sunday evening. So we'll have some clips of the week for you in the final hour as well. Lots to come in the second hour after the sports headlines.
Performance of the tournament. France absolutely didn't do anything. Had a nightmare performance. Yeah, whimper without no fight. But Spain, wow, that was watching Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. That was the way they were popping that ball past France to death. France couldn't handle the passing style of Spain. They weren't pressing as a team. You saw a team there in Spain, and you saw France with superstars that all had a nightmare of a game. And very poor performance from France. I'm sure they're going to be getting a lot of stick. Luckily, we got Emmanuel Petit on at the end of the show, and he's going to be thinking to himself, didn't see that coming.
I couldn't stop thinking about Manu last night.
Yeah,
I thought, oh my. Even the show yesterday, I felt that we had such a build-up in favour of France. Have we completely underestimated Spain?
We've underestimated them, but rightly so in the sense of their performances in this tournament. You know, they haven't performed to the level they did last night. Sometimes we talk at start of tournaments that it's not about how you start a tournament, it's how you end them. And Spain have proved that. Drawing 0-0 to Cape Verde, and some of their performances haven't been exciting. Even the win over Portugal wasn't their greatest performance.
Yeah.
But they've kept their best form for the semi-finals, so it's going to be a scary final, whoever plays Spain. Because the way Rodri and Fabian Ruiz controlled that game, Cucurella looked like the best left-back in the world last night. The way he kept Elise quiet, that was a shadow of Elise we've seen this whole tournament. Dembele, Mbappe, Barcola, Doué, they had nothing for an organised Spanish side.
Really, I was in shock.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of us just...
We're going to be having a chat with Arsenal's former head of sports science. It's been a difficult World Cup for many of their players who played so much football last season. We'll get an expert's take on that in the next hour. Nick Ellaby's here, though, with the sports headlines.
Talk Sport.
Thanks, Paul. Good morning. Following several reports, England players were unhappy with Thomas Tuchel's tactics this summer. Sean Dyche has questioned some of the things Jude Bellingham has said.
I thought they were odd comments, you know, and I wonder, I don't know yet. I mean, I know some people in the camp, but I haven't got involved with that. I'll step away from it, leave them to do their work. But in the cold light of day, I wonder, you know, whether in the camp there was some, you know, murmurings. Do you know what I mean? Because it was just an odd thing to say.
After beating Norway, Bellingham mentioned Tuchel never played at the top level. Meanwhile, following Troy Deeney's criticism, Jordan Pickford is not a top-level goalkeeper. Ben Foster explains a taller man would have saved Enzo's equaliser for Argentina. Pickford was unsighted.
As soon as he takes that little look to his left, if you watch the replay back, he just takes a little peek to the left around John Stones. Jude Bellingham flies in, but by the time the ball gets past John Stones, it's too late. You're not saving it. You're not getting back. He doesn't get any feet in. He can't make the save.
Meanwhile, Argentina's arrival in New York for the final has been disrupted by thunderstorms. They're still stranded in Atlanta. Whoever wins this World Cup will be getting Super Bowl-style rings for the first time, as Donald Trump's presence at the final is also confirmed. Liverpool fans, we understand Dominic Szoboszlai signed a new 5-year deal. Some good news there. And let's check in at the Open. Hugo Chambray's watching the action at Royal Birkdale.
Yeah, Australia's Lucas Herbert has the solo lead at 5 under par at the Open. He's made 5 birdies through his opening 7 holes. Herbert is just a stroke ahead of England's Matt Wallace, who just missed a short birdie putt on the par 5 17th hole. There were birdies for Rory McIlroy and Matt Fitzpatrick on the second to take them back to 1 over par. Scotland's Bob McIntyre tees off at 12.25. He's at -3, while Sungjae Im and Dan Brown are at -4. They get underway in just over an hour and a half's time.
Cheers, Hugo. Every shot from Royal Birkdale this weekend is live over on talkSPORT 2.
talkSPORT News.
Andy Burnham's already facing a revolt despite not being appointed as Labour leader yet, and parts of England have seen their longest spells with no rain since the mid-90s. Amelia's back at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Sort your new tyres this summer at a time that suits you best from the comfort of your home or work 7 days a week with our mobile tyre fitting service. Conditions apply.
Bit of cloud hanging around over North Sea coast, otherwise dry, sunny spells, warm again, hot in the southwest.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
Win 26 grand in your hand, courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Yes, time is running out for the chance to win a massive £26,000 in our latest competition. Just imagine what you could do with a whopping 26 grand in cash, completely tax-free. But you've only got a few days left, so here's how to enter.
For your chance to win, visit talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338 by 6 p.m. on the 20th of July 2026. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. We'll send your name and number by post to Comp 1 PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 HGP, to arrive by midnight on the 23rd of July 2026. 18 plus, UK residents only. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 right now. It's a network promotion, full T's and C's at talksportwin.com.
Beautiful. Yes, coming up in this hour of the show, Terry Gibson joins us with a Spanish angle. He's a Spanish football expert and co-commentator. He's also, of course, former Wimbledon, Manchester United, Spurs and Cov frontman. We'll talk a bit of England as well with Terry. We'll be chatting to Tom Allen, former head of sports science and performance at Arsenal.
Not the comedian.
No, not that one. Obviously. Yeah. I don't think the two are the same. Tom's been in before the other one. He's not a massive football fan. He was very upfront about that. And Adrian Durham joins us a little bit later on, some clips of the week for you as well. We asked you just how petty you were going to be this weekend to get behind Spain. An interesting one here from Mike. We can still put one over Argentina. Tuchel just needs to have a word with France. Tell them to play Mbappe in the third place playoff. We can let him walk through, thus stopping Messi winning the Golden Boot. Mike, I like that. Yeah, that's a nice idea. A lot of people, including Sean and others, have gone down the route that I've been tidying the house and got the kids tidying their rooms because I don't want them messy. Get it?
Get it.
There we are with that one. It's my partner's birthday party on Sunday. It just so happens we have a Spaniard from Valencia coming to stay and cooking us a paella.
Nice.
You can't get much more Spanish than that.
No, you couldn't.
I normally listen to Elaine Page on Sundays, but not this Sunday. Don't cry for me, Argentina, she sang. No chance, says Stephen in Hackney.
Do you really listen to Elaine Page? I do as well.
We're on the Venn diagram as talkSPORT and the Elaine Page show.
Through me.
Is that you are?
Yeah. It's a fascinating show. Elaine, I mean, she's a brilliant singer and all that, but she's been doing it for 25 years. And honestly...
That's too long in radio terms.
She's never done a link on the show that she hasn't read out.
Really?
It's all red.
Maybe that's where we've been going wrong.
I know. But I feel for the feel for the producer. She's got to write 2 hours worth of links.
Are you saying that's Marning? Are you saying? Oh, of course not. Is that where? Are you saying that she phones it in? Elaine Page phones it in. 03717.
I wouldn't say.
Never mind Thomas Tuchel and England DNA.
I wouldn't say she phones it in, but you can tell when someone's reading something out.
Yeah.
Actually,
we had a show many years ago. Our old boss here thought it'd be a nice idea to have a kind of a music show, and Gerald Harper, the actor and broadcaster, did a show called on talkSPORT. This was Champagne and Roses.
Marvellous it was.
So you'd have someone come on and say, "Hello, lads. Yeah, great show. Gerard and Lampard can't play together." Anyway, and you'd have all that, and then he'd come on and say, "Well, thank you, Peter, for that call. Here's Mel Tom." No, he actually didn't take the phone-ins, but it was a touch jarring. He's got to go, lads, Tuchel. We should bring it back. Oh, no, Gerald's not with us anymore. No, it would have been nice to just my Sunday. I used to do
Sunday affair.
Yeah, Champagne and Roses. I mean, it was nuts. But we had a quite eclectic lineup of programming. I think it's fair.
He got replaced by a wrestling show.
He did. They took him off and put a wrestling show on. I can do a headlock, Kelvin. I can do a forearm smash. Don't let me go.
The great Mick McManus.
Yeah.
Marvellous.
I remember there was me,
Jackie
Pallow and Kendo Nagasaki. And this one this is Secret Love by Peggy Lee. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Sean from Torquay said, "I've just stolen a donkey from the local donkey." He hasn't. From the local donkey sanctuary. If Spain win on Sunday night, I'm going to ride it to work on Monday morning playing my Spanish guitar. Says, you're not Sean, are you? You're saying that for effect.
Brian Linford's proud to be English.
Is he really the serial letter writer to the Star? Yeah.
He says, "I'm proud to be English. 48 teams and we made the last 4. That's true. Let's give the Lions a rousing reception coming home. Not as Euros gone by."
Euros?
YRS.
Oh, okay.
Euros. You couldn't be bothered to put the EA in it.
Yeah.
It's too much effort. Gone by. No welcome at all. The England lads left us a proud nation.
Well, yeah.
Sort of, Brian.
Kind of. I've decided that the final is actually on Saturday. This is Hayden. He said it's just a mindset, basically. So if you decide that the final's on Saturday night, the third place playoff is on Sunday, who's going to stop me? It's still coming home, says Hayden.
I feel for that.
Well, look, if it works for you, Hayden, I've disposed of all my corned beef. You've been told, Dom, that comes from Uruguay, not Argentina. So you've wasted perfectly good corned beef.
The King says it was a good day to drown a few sorrows yesterday.
Yeah.
He visited a pub. Brewery, rather.
He went to a brewery and he did that photo op. He said, "It's a good day," and he did that. And then he took a little sip off the top.
Yeah.
It would have been great if Camilla had picked it up and chugged it. Chug. That would have been great, wouldn't it? She'd sunk. That's why he married her, because she could sink a pint in about 4 seconds. Lots of people buying Spanish beer, by the way. A lot of people buying Spanish beer, as I have, for the game. It's little victories, as Easter.
Yeah, there's some nice ones available. That is true.
Yeah.
The King spoke to Finance Director Paul Barnett about the impact of the World Cup on the business, which is largely food-led pubs. Oh, I see, which don't show the football. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm quite relieved because we're out of the football because we don't make so much money. Well, what's the point of even asking?
Tom is really going the extra yard, Andy. This is good. He is going to pronounce all his C's as THs because they don't do that in Argentina. He's going to soften everything all day. He's going to sound like that. You sound like Lou and Andy, aren't you? You're going to do it, or even the English stuff. That's right. Look, as we said, Tom, little victories.
There will be some.
He's going to have a siesta before the game as well. He's not going to have a kip. He's going to have a siesta.
As much as I wanted to see Ronaldo's crying face after Portugal went out, I'm desperate to see Messi's. Wouldn't you love that? To see
What's that? To see Messi crying?
Oh, see him losing. It'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? The Schadenfreude would be.
I mean, it's quite a lot of them. I mean, apart from the Villa fans, Emi Martinez, maybe. Would be good to see it. And let's all close our eyes. Not if you're driving. Just imagine that. Enzo Fernandez. I know too. The worst one. That complete S-house. Simeone.
Oh yeah.
An S off the old block, isn't he?
Oh, he's terrible, isn't he?
Yeah. I cannot. Oh yeah, that would be great. I want to see him in floods. They do.
And then I've seen
so bitter
scenes in Buenos Aires of them like really being miserable.
Yeah,
it will be marvellous, wouldn't it? I've got a feeling that's not going to be what happens, though.
I think Neil in Basingstoke isn't the only one compromised by this. I'll be cheering on Argentina through gritted teeth because I drew them in the works sweepstake.
Oh well, there you go.
That's the thing. It's all about the money. He said to quote Jessie J. A lot of people in a similar boat. Anyway, how petty are you going to be to get right behind Spain for the World Cup final? We'll bring you that. We'll be chatting to Adrian Durham, your host for that one, a little bit later on. And of course, we'll bring you the third place playoff tomorrow evening, 10 o'clock kickoff here on Talks.
I'm dressing as Manuel from 40 Town.
I'm going to see if I can find that mascot outfit I brought back from Spain when I was 7. See if it still fits. Latest episode of How to Win the World Cup is now live. Matt Ford was alongside Manu Petit, the 1998 World Cup winner, and Alex Brooker. Looking back on England's defeat in that semi-final, Petit said he felt there was a bit of a mentality issue. It goes beyond the players and the staff. Something ingrained, he says, in the British psyche.
Yesterday, England didn't play as a team.
Why don't we do that? Why is this a constant problem for England?
This is in the mentality, when the boys, they grow up, and they want to become footballers, people around them that keep telling them it's coming on, but at the end, England will fail. It's like kind of the same song all the time, the same mentality, generation after generation. When I came to London a couple of days ago, I spoke with so many English people. They were not confident at all. The environment has to change. Did you see Argentinians? The whole country, unite on the team. They have the feeling. Did you see the link with the players and the fans? Have you seen it? Honestly, it's like playing against a whole country when you're on the pitch. I think we forgot sometimes, European countries, what it means, to play a World Cup, It's like, okay, we have great players, we have a really good team. We're among the favorites to win the World Cup. But at the end, being a good player is important. Showing it on the pitch is more important.
Honestly, what a ridiculous thing. Did he see the game the night before? Oh, no, France didn't bottle it at all, mate. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, they really played as a team and individuals. Honestly, these people come up with such nonsense.
Thank you, caller. That's Andy disagreeing with Manu Petit. Well, if you want to hear the full interview, the full chat with the boys, How to Win the World Cup, available wherever you get your podcast. No, thanks. Dance has been in touch, very much enjoying the show whilst heading to Blackpool. Darts on the radio starts again tomorrow night, of course.
Big tournament, that's right, Dance.
The sport continues, of course. World Match Play. So on talkSPORT, it brilliantly works on the radio of our top team. talkSPORT 2 from 7 p.m. World Match Play Darts. Safe journey, Dance. Tom Allen's going to join us, not that one. Head of sports science, former head of sports science at Arsenal. It's been a difficult World Cup for some of the Arsenal players, flogged really after a tough season physically and mentally. We'll talk about that and other sports science matters in a few moments' time. We are here with the good people at Selco Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go.
Couldn't get anywhere near Spain, could they, in the midfield? Do you think that the manager should have made a change at half-time? Maybe Digne come off for Hernandez and also maybe an extra midfielder come on for an attacker?
Well, the fact that Rabiot left at the half-time because he received straight away, yellow card. He was probably our best player on the pitch for the first 45 minutes. But anyway, you could have changed the entire team, against Spain in the half-time. It would have changed nothing. So I think we looked so nervous, so far away from our level. Tactically and technically, we were so poor. Credit to Spain. They really deserve to win. They play really well. I thought that we were different with what happened, 4 years ago. But it was kind of the same game. And they control everything. We had no inspiration, no creativity, no personality. And it was so sad to watch them because I had the feeling watching the game that it was kind of the same game against Morocco, But
you know what was baffling me, Emmanuel, was whenever you won the ball back, just give the ball away cheaply. Everybody was. No shots on target.
We were so far away from each other, Yeah. So, I think tactically we lost the game. But technically as well, we were so poor, But we looked so nervous. So I still don't understand what happened yesterday. There's so many things that we're missing. in that game, and that's why I think we should get over it and still work on it. And but Spain are still our worst enemy, actually, and it was a lesson of football yesterday, to be honest with you.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
It's Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT now. Adrian Durham joins us a little bit later on. He wound up some of the Gooners with a comment about the Arsenal players in this World Cup. They played a lot of football, many of these players, and maybe it's not a surprise that they've picked up knocks, not maybe been at their best after 60-odd games in this tournament. Joining us now, their former head of sports science, Tom Allen. Hello, Tom.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks. I mean, there's only so much in your world. It's such a sophisticated world, sports science. You can have all the stats at your hands, but ultimately, when people have played 60-odd games of football and they've gone to the top of the mountain, they've played in the Champions League final, there's only so much you can do. People get tired.
Yeah, and we know from research there's more and more games coming into play. The intensity of the game is getting way, way higher than what it has been previously. Over the last 10 years, you've seen like a 40% increase in high-intensity running. And it's important as performance and medical staff, you're keeping an eye on what players are doing, using the data that's provided, using companies like talkSPORT to get data from GPS units. So I think you'll see some of the players in the World Cup wearing a GPS unit. So in between the shoulder blades, there's a little unit that is collecting hundreds and hundreds of data points per second. And then people having to try and work out using their knowledge and the information that's provided to determine what's best for the player at any given time point.
I've just thought of this. I mean, I could be completely wrong, and the stats may not back it up. So maybe you're the man to tell me. But we have not seen we've not seen lots and lots of players pulling up with muscle injuries in this World Cup, have we? Why is that, you think?
So look, you've had a big handover from the clubs and the national team. So you worked really closely together. Naturally, a lot of it is focusing on recovering around games. You play a game and in the next 3 or 4 days, you're then having to recover. You're also traveling a lot, so then you don't really have as much time on the pitch. And it's trying to maximise what you can. You're playing in a World Cup. You want to try your very, very best, and you keep pushing yourself to the limits that you possibly can, and then recover for the next one.
It's interesting, isn't it? Premier League squads have about 19 to 20 outfield players in general. But it's certain players play every game. That's the problem, isn't it? There are players that the managers just won't rest because they're so important to the team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you're going to win games of football, you need to play your best players as often as possible. Naturally, you find times where you can reduce that that load, and you find moments where you rotate. So that can either be through substitutions or missing games of football that are planned. But it's working as a group and as a team to determine, okay, this is what's best for that individual. Speaking to the player himself, because the player can tell you what's good and what's not. And then it's also looking at history. So mainly players who've played a lot of games previous years, you know that usually they can cope with higher loads.
What role then do the performance staff play with the players trying to pick themselves up after they've kind of gone out effectively? Both France and England have got to play a third place game, and I believe you feel that they will care about it, but they've emotionally have got to pick themselves up because they'll feel they've come up short and they could probably do without this game.
Of course they will. It's natural human behaviour. You have a group of people who are born winners. They've come to this point of their career because they are winning so often and they want to win games of football. Naturally, you have to start and accept that, look, you're going to be disappointed, but in the performance world, you have to try and get them ready for the next game. So mentality is the first point. We know there are competitive players, so players at the elite level, even if it's a five-a-side game, they want to win games of football. Whoever that pitch want to represent England to their very, very best, and then also perform, because that could set a marker for the team. I mean, if we beat France, you then have the opportunity to say that we have performed at the highest level since 1966, and we finished third in the tournament. You also set a marker for what's ahead in future tournaments as well.
Yeah, but no one cares about it, I have to tell you that. That's the way it is. I mean, you might be honest about it, they don't. How does someone maintain their form and fitness at 39 in the way that Lionel Messi
That's the
does?
thing, isn't it? It's going to be Yamal versus Messi, it'll be billed as, but you're going to prepare those two guys in a very different way for the final, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. So Yamal's had an extra day recovery. He's younger than Messi, so Messi's 39 years old. He knows what his routine is, and it's understanding that it's very individualistic and how you approach that with each individual. If you look at someone like Messi and Yamal, both sprint very similar amounts, but Messi, if you look at it, he will save his moments for the key moments of the game where he then accelerate and push out. Again, both will be doing absolutely everything they can. It's a World Cup final. You go to your optimum. Messi's been there before in the last World Cup, and it's now a chance to see how he progresses again.
They put an awful lot of emotional energy into the England game and the aftermath of it. They're on the pitch for about 40 minutes celebrating with their fans. It was almost like they'd won a final. I mean, that could impact them on Sunday, couldn't it?
Yeah, of course, it's a very emotional game. But if I'm perfectly honest, you're about to play a World Cup final. You will be doing absolutely everything you can to perform that. So the team around them will be making sure that the mentality is right, the preparation is right for what they need to do. You will leave no stone unturned purely because you know every opportunity and every eventuality could happen. So to be fair, 120 minutes and penalties is a possibility. So you are preparing for all those aspects throughout your preparation.
And
in the few days leading up to it.
If you were still at Arsenal, you'd be welcoming back Declan Rice, who's been ill and clearly not 100% fit. But then what players are really after a long season? Bukayo Saka, who's missed games and not looked quite at it. William Saliba is probably going to need an operation on his back, and you're probably thinking, "Oh, thanks." I mean, it's not England's fault, but you guys have got to pick up the pieces.
Arsenal fans are concerned for what this means for the start of the season.
Yeah, because they've had. I mean, Gabriel as well didn't quite. He'll think about that moment when he didn't get to Haaland. So you've got to pick up the pieces of these guys after international tournaments, haven't you?
Yeah, every club, look, you're planning for each individual, so every case is very individual. You need to tailor it to the people that are coming back, and you have as a team, so as the manager, the coaching staff, all the performance, medical, and the analysts are all coming together, working out what the best possibilities for each individual, and then it's going, right, how do we get these players at their optimum come game one of the Premier League season? And there'll be different abilities that you're looking at, different plans in order to get each and every single one of them ready to perform when you need them to.
Good stuff, Tom. Lovely to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. All the best.
Former Arsenal head of sports science, that's Tom Allen and Adrian Durham. I'm sure will be qualifying his comments that wound up many of the Arsenal fans.
You saw with Chelsea's players who played in the Club World Cup last year.
It takes its toll, doesn't it? A World Cup takes its toll.
Yeah, there were other reasons why they were rubbish in the second half of the season, but that was definitely one of them.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. And we may see a bit of impact from this World Cup in the Premier League at the start of next season. We're going to be chatting to Terry Gibson in the next half hour of the show, Spanish football expert and commentator on La Liga games. And we'll talk a bit of England with the former Tottenham Dons and Manchester United frontman, plus the clips of the week in the final hour.
McCarthy joined Simon and Piers, decided to take Piers Morgan on regarding an incident way back in 2009 when, as Wolves manager, he rested a number of players for a trip to Old Trafford.
I've always respected you hugely, genuinely, as a manager.
Except when I dropped 10 players at Wolverhampton.
Yeah, well, that was terrible.
You did say something that I was particularly unhappy about.
I thought it was shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. What was your problem with what I said? You must have known I was right.
You're never right, mate. you just antagonise people with your comments, which you're doing on this show quite clearly. No. So when you said it, my job is to win games.
Yes.
We went to Spurs the Saturday before. We won 1-0 with about 35% possession. We've got Manchester United on the Tuesday. I went there and I dropped 10 players. I have a squad of 22. If I'm a manager, it's my right to manage that team how I see and get results.
And it's my right as an Arsenal fan who you were directly impacting with your cowardice
because you weren't good enough
you out on it.
Because you weren't good enough to win the title, and that Sir Alex won it again, anybody. You weren't good enough, so you blame me, which is real bad on my part.
I know what Roy Keane's problem was.
No,
just to be clear, by dropping 10 players, you let United walk all over you, which had a direct impact on my team's chances of winning the league. I thought that was an appalling abrogation of your duty as a manager to entertain the fans with the best available team.
Clear you up. My duty was to beat Burnley on the Saturday, and we did.
Well, Mick hasn't forgotten, has he? That's for sure.
Oh, no, he went further than that. He said that Piers was a purveyor of the wrist action.
One of the beautiful things about the World Cup is when someone just takes the tournament by storm. Some obvious names pop up, like James Rodriguez. Back in the 90s, there was Salvatore Schillaci. 6 of his 7 career goals for Italy came at Italia 90 as he carried the Azzurri to a 4th-place finish at home. That was the tournament we saw a 38-year-old Roger Milla go from Cameroonian squad player to dancing by the corner flag. And of course, in 98, Michael Owen, who the rest of the world hadn't really heard of before he made some Argentinian greats look like school children. And thinking about Liverpool, they probably wish the 2002 World Cup never happened, because they signed this guy off the back of his performances in Japan and South Korea. They could have had him instead, and Steven Gerrard's still crying. No player's ever taken a tournament by storm quite like Paolo Rossi, though. He served a 2-year match-fixing ban before the 1982 World Cup and did absolutely nothing in the group stage. But then, an explosion of goals. A hat-trick against Brazil, 2 in the semis against Poland, 1 in the final against West Germany. Italy won the World Cup thanks to him. He also took home the Golden Ball and the Golden Boot. He's the only player to ever win all 3 in the same tournament. The World Cup is full of fairy tales, but none compare to Rossi's 82.
It's Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Adrian Durham joining us later on, your host for the World Cup final this weekend. We'll find out more about the World Cup final referee a little bit later on. I can tell you that the referee for the third place playoff is Venezuela's Jesus Valenzuela. Mr. Valenzuela from Venezuela.
Well, fair enough.
He's doing the game, for what it's worth. Anyway, it's time to get all the latest odds with our very good friends at BetMGM, isn't it? Or am I going absolutely
It should be
nuts?
an easy
Oh, no,
game.
sorry about that.
It's an easy game to referee. Though.
Yeah, we'll do that in a moment. We're going to get an update on the Open now at Birkdale from Hugo Chambray.
I can make up some odds if you like, Paul.
Don't do that. That could be very expensive for us here at talkSPORT if you do that.
Best not to. Lucas Herbert has just tied the record for the lowest 9 holes ever played at the Open Championship. That was set back in 1983. He made half a dozen birdies on his front 9, and he now leads at 6 under par. England's Matt Wallace is in the clubhouse after his second round. He's at 4 under after getting up and down from the bunker on 18 to shoot 67. And Rory McIlroy, 326-yard par 4, just a 3-wood. He drives it greenside, but he can't make the birdie putt. A decent start for him. He's 1 over, and Matt Fitzpatrick just birdied that hole to get from 2 over to 1 over.
The Open Championship update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Yeah, time to look at all the latest odds with our good friends at BetMGM. Dan Taus from BetMGM joins us once again. Hi, Dan.
Morning, gents. You good?
Yeah, we're
good,
we're not
thanks.
too bad. We're coming to terms with it. We got the third place game to come. It's a difficult one, really, if you're looking for goal scorers and specifics, because we don't quite know who's going to be playing. I think we're guessing some of the boys who haven't played will get some game time, aren't we?
Yeah, you're right there. As Andy Jacobs said, the eagerly awaited third place playoff this weekend. Last 3 winners of that game have all been European, and obviously we're going to see another European this weekend. As you'd expect, with Didier Deschamps' final game as French manager, he'd want to go out on a bit of a high. They're the odds-on favourites to win the game. Kylian Mbappe is obviously still vying for the Golden Boot, along with certain Lionel Messi. And we've seen it in the past with Davor Suker and, do you remember, Toto Scalacci in 1990?
Yeah.
They actually won the Golden Boot through the third place playoff game. So we'd expect him to start. Ironically, with Mbappe and Messi, if they do end up on the same amount of goals and it goes to assists, Messi's currently winning 4-3 on that, I think. And then if they're still tied on that, then it goes to minutes played. And Mbappe's actually played 46 minutes less than Messi so far this tournament. So he's the odds-on favourite to win the Golden Boot. Going back to the game, England the outsiders at 13-5. As you said, Paul, I think we'll see a few changes. Only won 1 of the last 7 versus France, and to be honest, how much they'll be up for this in Miami, I'll be waiting to see for the teams to be selected before getting involved myself. But if I'm brutally honest, like Mr. Jacobs said, how many people in the UK are going to be sitting down, or not the UK, in England will be sitting down interested with a cup of tea come kick off tomorrow night?
Well, I'll watch
Players must be dreading it.
Yeah.
Because
I think
they've
they're
got to go back to that horrible hot atmosphere. I spoke to one of my friends who was in the stadium. He said, you can't believe how hot it was.
Yeah, you kind of
got to go and face that again.
You sense whatever Infantino wants, it's going to be played at a kind of testimonial pace. I've even heard some people suggest that the third place playoff shouldn't count towards the Golden Boot because it's a game of no consequence. But FIFA, of course, who insist on playing it, will have none of that, will they?
No, they won't. I totally agree with you. I think it's, like you said, a testimonial game, and I think it helps Kylian Mbappe knowing that he's going into that game, obviously joint goals with Messi, but you'd think he'd have more of an advantage of scoring the game than Messi will be against Spain, given the pressure that will be on playing in the World Cup final.
Now, what about the final itself then? Is there a lot of patriotic betting from English punters getting behind Spain?
Getting behind Spain, yeah. First ever time that the European champions have played the Copa America champions, and Messi's Argentina looking to become the first nations in 88 years to retain the trophy. Spain unbeaten over 90 minutes in 37 games, and they were just brilliant against France. They managed to dilute any threat that the French had, but at the same time, although we have to keep talking about Argentina, they just don't give up, do they? They got through the games with Cape Verde, with Egypt when they were 2-0 down, Switzerland, or they had a player sent off, and obviously we all know what happened on Wednesday night with England. But when they're on the ropes, they managed to swing it back in their momentum. But personally, I'm back in Spain. That's my head as opposed to my heart. And I think if they get their noses in front, they'll be very difficult to break down. I don't think they'll do a low block like we tended to do on Wednesday night. Market has Spain as the 6-5 favourites, Argentina bigger at just over 2-1, and the draw is 9-5, which isn't the worst price given that 4 of the last 5 World Cup finals have actually gone to extra time. But more broadly, apart from the game itself, there is some interest of how this could impact the Ballon d'Or. So Lionel Messi is the 5-4 favourite, Harry Kane at 5-2, and Lamine Yamal is 7-2. But let's face it, if Argentina win the trophy on Sunday, then Messi will be odds on to collect his, I think it's been his 9th or something ridiculous like that, Ballon d'Or.
Wow.
For me, Yamal needs to do something incredible in Sunday's final. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got the ability to do it. He could definitely rock up and turn up and take that game by the scruff of the neck. But I feel a little bit sorry for Harry Kane. A little bit overlooked. He's got his country as a captain to the semi-final of the World Cup, and his goal scoring stats last year were just ridiculous for club and country. And if Messi and Yamal have a quiet game on Sunday, you never know. At 5-2, Harry Kane could be a bet.
It's difficult to back against Argentina. They've got so much willpower to win, and the mentality. I mean, Spain are the better team, but, I wouldn't back against them.
No, it's going to be interesting. And just on the Open, looking at the leaderboard at the moment, there's not that many sort of ultra familiar names unless you're a big golf fan. So it's quite interesting. Still early stages, though, Dan.
It is. You've just come off from the report at Birkdale. Justin Suber had never been to Europe until this week. He only played 27 holes on a links course. God, if my game was only that good. He led the opening day yesterday on 5 under par. He's just got back to level par for his second round off a bit of a topsy-turvy start to his round 2, which included 4 bogeys and 4 birdies. Current leader is Lucas Herbert, who's 6 under, and he's just completed his front 9, which I think is a record for the Open. Rory had a day to forget yesterday. He ended up on +2. He's managed to get a shot back already today, but he's as big as 20-1 now. But nicely poised, and the outright right favourite pre-tournament was Scotty Scheffler. He's now around the 5-1 mark. He isn't out till 3:05 this afternoon, but at 2 under, 4 shots off the lead, you wouldn't be ruling him out picking up his second claret jug come Sunday evening.
Excellent. Well, it's been good chatting to you, to Sean, to Alex during the World Cup. Dan, I'm sure we'll catch up with you at some stage. All the best. Thanks for joining us.
Will do. Take care, gents.
Take care. Dan Taus there from BetMGM. You can visit betmgm.co.uk or you can download the app. 18+, begambleaware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Some potentially good news for West Ham fans.
Oh, yeah.
Reports suggesting that Jared Bowen is committed his immediate future to the club and has signed a revised contract.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I don't mean it's an extended contract from these reports. It's a revised contract. So
it's got a lot of family pressure from Dad.
But I mean, ultimately, I mean, we joke about it, but, Danny Dyer wouldn't be leaning on his... I mean, look, it could be family where they are, but he could go off and get a fantastic deal.
I think the fact that he's 29 is a factor as well.
But no,
if he was 22, 23, I think
he has still got one more very big deal in him, which is why we say it's a revised contract. I mean, West Ham will need to, to keep him there, to give him more, and quite right too. You're asking a Premier League player to stay in the Championship for a year, but obviously he has got skin in the game, and he'll want to get the club, and he cares about the club, and he'll want to get him out of the Championship. So that is some good news for West Ham fans. These reports suggesting that he will be there certainly for next season. I think the deal runs till 2030, so he could be there for a few years yet, hopefully back in the Premier League.
Well, not if they're not promoted.
No, I would imagine that is the case. But there we are. We'll bring you more on that as we get it. Adrian Durham joining us a little bit later on. Terry Gibson up next, Spanish football expert and commentator, former Manchester United Spurs frontman, will join us to look ahead from a Spain perspective to the final on Sunday night live on talkSPORT. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
when we have a 4-2-4 system, a players like Olmo, if you look at him, he's always between two lines.
Yep.
This player, you saw it in the game with Belgium, you saw it in the game with Portugal. He is exactly the kind of, I would say, a virus who is entering in the blood of the opponents, and he killed us. He was one of the players perfectly suited to kill us.
Yeah. Can I just ask your thoughts on Mbappe last night as well? I mean, did he let himself down, Eric? I know he's a big player, he's a big personality, but even walking off last night, not shaking anybody's hands, I mean, how does that look?
It looks like the real Mbappe is back. There is two Mbappe, the one who is having a mission and the one who can be positive and working and sharing and being the leader of a team. And when he loses his gift, his toy, when the toy is broken, suddenly the teenager who is part of him comes back, the one who is selfish, the one who is a bit aggressive when he gets a yellow card with the goalkeeper, the one who doesn't share hands with opponent, the one who suddenly in the last 20 minutes he knew the game was lost and he played for himself. He made some useless kicks, shots, sorry.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
The stakes are at their highest and the greats and the good are separated. And like when global icons clash, and the prize is footballing immortality.
Early ball, gets it back, Pedro Porro! It is two! That is a golden moment for Spain!
Get your team to the World Cup final. I thought Rodri was absolutely magnificent.
Spain are a game away from a second star. The European champions now on the brink of becoming world champions again.
Back in from Messi and headed in by Lautaro Martinez.
Argentina just got in the car and smashed straight through the wonder wall, didn't they?
When the Argentinian players were singing the anthem, you could see how much they want to win that game. That's probably the best game Argentina played in this World Cup.
Nobody's retained the trophy since 1962. Argentina stand on the brink of history.
Yep, Sunday evening here on talkSPORT, 8 o'clock kick-off the World Cup final between Argentina and Spain. Just before we chat, the Spanish football expert Terry Gibson. What about the man in the middle? You may well have seen a very emotional referee who was, at the moment, he was given the gig by Pierluigi Collina, handed him the shirt, found out he was going to be the World Cup referee. Let's find out a bit more about him from former Premier League referee Graham Scott.
The only real surprise about the appointment is that it's gone to a European ref for the second World Cup running. Usually the appointment for the World Cup final referee gets shared around the confederations, and with a European team playing a South American team, I'd certainly expected someone from maybe from Asia or even North America. So nonetheless, it's a really good shout. I think he's had a good tournament, quiet tournament on the whole. His main game was, the biggest game he did was Brazil, Morocco in the group stages. So he'll be known to some English fans. He did Chelsea twice this season when they beat Barcelona, but also when they lost to PSG. So I think we'll see high foul count, especially in the first half. Hopefully the game will then settle down and a football match will break out. Let's hope so.
Thank you very much, Graham.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
congratulations.
that Argentina will try and kick Spain off the park, but we'll see.
Yes, Slavko Vintic of Slovenia, who, congratulations to him, is the referee. Jared Bowen has now confirmed through West Ham's media channels that he will be staying at the club next season. So some very good news, I think, for West Ham fans. Let's look ahead to the final then with Spanish football expert La Liga co-commentator Terry Gibson. Hi, Terry.
Good afternoon, Paul. Andy.
Yeah, it is a fascinating matchup, as we have been saying earlier on. That Argentina never know when they're beaten, but this is going to be their toughest test. And you do feel the first goal, although Argentina have gone behind a lot, including on Wednesday night, Terry. You do feel the first goal is going to be key, and if Spain get it, it's going to be very tough for Argentina.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that in any cup final, the first goal is hugely important.
Yeah. Well, you of all people would know that as a man who won the FA Cup with Wimbledon.
1-0. But I think it's been the makeup of Argentina in this tournament where they actually look better when they are behind and they're chasing the game. And, I wouldn't write them off if they went behind against Spain, because we've seen Scaloni has made changes, bold changes, brave changes, changes that needed to be made in order to get back into the game against Egypt and again against England. So they look better when they do go behind. They won't want to go behind, of course, because Spain are the best team that they would have played in this competition. And if Spain were to go ahead, it'd be a different proposition. I think Spain would be better at keeping the ball. They won't shut up shop. They won't put extra defenders on. They'll just continue to play their normal game and try and pick off Argentina again. So I think that's the type of performance we saw from Spain against France will apply against Argentina.
It's an interesting game for Messi, isn't it, this? Because although he's Argentinian, we all know he went to Spain very, very early in his career, in his life, and stayed there for a very long time. And a lot of Argentinians for a long time didn't even consider him Argentinian. They thought he was more Spanish.
Yeah.
So this is quite a big game for, well, obviously it's a big game from that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm astonished. It's the first time they've played in a World Cup game since 1966.
Wow,
really?
Of course, we all know how long ago that is now, because we're sick of hearing about 1966. I think it's 60 years if I'm right.
Yes,
right?
it is. Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So it's astonishing that's not happened. So he's obviously not playing against Spain in a World Cup match, which is also astonishing. But it will be, it'll be tough for every player that's playing in the World Cup final. But it's an interesting matchup. It's something different to look forward to. Of course, we'd loved it to have been Spain against England, but that's not to be now, and it's Spain against Argentina, and it's something we can, look forward to watching on Sunday afternoon.
It'd be interesting to see how the conditions affect the game as well, and keeping the ball becomes so important, doesn't it, in that hot weather?
Yeah, but I suppose both teams are essentially kind of used to it, aren't they?
I think Spain in particular. It was interesting. I've just literally returned back from New York this morning, and the pollution in the air is incredible. There's fires in Canada.
Yeah.
And a couple of days ago, there was a real smog about the place. It looked eerie at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was almost like night time. Whether that's going to, I was concerned then. I thought this is going to be a problem on Sunday. It did clear up yesterday and today. A little bit, but that's going to play its part as well. It's not ideal to be playing in those conditions.
No.
Everyone's being warned in the city to try and stay indoors, wear masks and stuff like that, and then we're getting the footballers to run around on Sunday afternoon. What I would say is I was there in New York for the England-Argentina game. It was mobbed by Argentina supporters, even though the game was in Atlanta. So it's going to be a fun place to be at the weekend with the fans from both sets of nations, countries involved in that city. So it's, I'm really looking forward to it. Would love to have been England, of course, but I really think this is a game we could look forward to and be excited about.
How were you feeling as a former pro, Terry, and a pundit now, watching what England were doing? Were you just doing that thing, get up the pitch? Were you just desperate to see them just get off the edge of their own box?
I feared it was going to happen. That was my concern, and it was going to happen. Dan Burner's become a sort of, a cult figure during this World Cup because on a couple of occasions it has worked. But I didn't think it was needed in this game, but I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to happen, and I knew that Argentina were going to throw on more attacking players, and it was going to be it could have been a problem for either team. And in fact, if England had more attacking players and had been able to get up the pitch, with the lack of defenders that Argentina had at one stage, we were there it was there to score a second goal. So I could see it happening. I wasn't surprised when it happened, when we dropped deep, and protecting the lead. It's human nature for most players in a World Cup semi-final to try and protect the lead, but it's up to the manager then to try and apply the right tactics to instill that confidence in his team and belief in his team that we're not hanging on, we're not clinging on by our fingertips. See this game out.
At least have an out ball, Terry. That was the thing that you touched on there. You had to have someone that could just alleviate the pressure. If you are going to play like that, then you've got to have someone to do that, and we didn't, did we?
No, exactly. I mean, Harry Kane did drop deep anyway as well. He was dropping deep to help out. At that one time, there was nobody within 20 metres of the attacking half of the pitch, and we just couldn't get out. And it became inevitable in the end that Argentina were going to get crosses into the box. Did I think we would defend them? Yes. I didn't expect Lautaro Martinez to be able to find space in the 6-yard box and head home from close range. I didn't expect that type of goal. And I guess you could say we didn't expect Enzo Fernandez to wrap his foot around one into the corner from distance. So, I mean, Argentina showed their quality. I think overall they were the better team. But when you're 1-0 up, and it's in the second half, and you think you can, you've got a breakaway goal, and you've scored the goal, you're in control of the game. We were all desperate for them to hold on, or go and get the second goal. Maybe I promise you, if Spain go 1-0 up, they're not doing that.
We saw against France that they didn't do that, and maybe that should have been the blueprint. And Enzo Fernandez, I mean, he did it against Tottenham, as we know, to our cost, Terry, didn't he? At the end of the season, a very similar goal, and he's always got that threat, and they were obviously looking for him, weren't they? So
he was getting his eye in, wasn't he? He had a couple of attempts just moments before that. I mean, he's a good player. He's a very good player. All the Argentina players are. We often say about Argentina it's just Messi, but it's not. They've got very, very good
Alvarez,
players. They've got a good manager as well. They've got a fantastic never say die attitude. If you upset them, you do that at your peril. If you upset Messi, you do that at your peril. He'll come back to cause you problems. So I make Spain favourites. This isn't the Spain I expected, Paul and Andy, going into this tournament. I didn't expect to be talking about a Spain team that had only conceded one goal. I didn't expect to see a Spain team without Pedri featuring heavily after being incredible this season for Barcelona. I thought they had problems at the back and with the goalkeeper. That was my concern going into this World Cup. Do they have the experience? Is Porro up to the job of playing right back? Or will it be Marcos Llorente? Should Unai Simon play ahead of Joan Garcia and David Raya? There's those question marks. Is Laporte going to play? He hasn't been particularly great since he came back from Saudi to play for Athletic Club. But De La Fuente has faith in these players. Does Baena play? Didn't think he played particularly well on the ball in the game against France, but he worked hard defensively. And what we've seen from De La Fuente is he'll stick to the same 11, I think. I think there's no doubt he'll start with the same starting 11 and then use Marino, Ferran Torres, Pedri will come off the bench. But it's been a slow build for Spain, but in the last game, with Rodri in particular, he was immense in that game.
Terry, always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
We will catch up with you soon. Enjoy the final.
Paul, Andy, always a pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
There we are. This Terry Gibson, their Spanish football expert, former FA Cup winner with Wimbledon, of course, Coventry, Spurs and Manchester United. He does a fine Spanish La Liga podcast with our old mate John Driscoll. You can check that out wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be chatting to Max Scott. He's been out and about asking fans who they'll be supporting on Sunday, as if we didn't know. And Adrian Durham will join us in the build-up to the final. Plus, Steve Bruce gives us an insight of what it's like to be under the cosh as a manager, much as Thomas Tuchel is now. That's all to come in the final hour. 25 minutes. You're playing against Argentina. And you've just gone, here. There you go. Go on, just attack us. Attack v defence.
Do you know what, Jay? I can't believe I'm having this conversation about Tuchel. I cannot believe I'm having this conversation.
Sack him.
It's just rinse and repeat as England. And I don't know whether he looked back on that Mexico game and got drawn into how comfortable he felt. No, Jay, I'm not giving you an answer. I'm trying to find a reason. I'm trying to get into his head. I don't know the answer, Jay. Any more than you. Don't, Jay. I'm trying to find a reason.
But why put Bellingham on the left?
Jay, I don't know.
Why not bring Rashford on?
I don't know.
Why not bring Saka on?
I don't know.
What was he thinking?
I don't know.
What's he thinking?
I'm trying to get into Tuchel's head because the lads were dead on their feet. And if you're going to go to 5 at the back, which I kind of understand in one way, I do. But what you need to do is help help the back 5, because if they can't get out, you literally are on the edge of your box, and you can't defend all the time like that. You need pressure on the ball. You need players to get out, and also you need an out ball. We had no out ball. Nothing. But I can't believe you said
that's coaching 101. That's literally coaching. We are sat there, 2 donuts, all right, in the Redwood. 2 people that sit on here, all right? We ain't coaches. We know football. He's the top level England manager, and the whole nation can see that we were camped in, and everyone's screaming, "Make a sub, give us an out."
I don't get it, Jay. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand how he couldn't see what we were seeing.
Talk Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Toby Gillis. The FA might be behind him, but are the players so forgiving of Thomas Tuchel's World Cup semi-final efforts and his subsequent comments? There are reports several were unhappy with the manager's tactics, and he's also questioned English football's DNA. Sean Dyche thinks the squad missed the best chance to win a World Cup in his lifetime.
Not because I think we're amazing as a group. We've got some very talented players, don't get me wrong. But I thought the superpowers are not superpowering. And it was only France before, obviously, we saw what happened with Spain. But so they're the only ones who really come into time when everyone's going, they're going to be the team to beat.
Argentina's arrival in New York for the final has been disrupted by thunderstorms. They're still stranded in Atlanta. Has utter yank nonsense taken over the World Cup? Whoever wins it will be getting blinged up Super Bowl-style rings for the first time. That as Donald Trump's presence at the final is also confirmed. Jared Bowen has confirmed he is staying at West Ham. He signed an amended contract. Bowen's deal runs until 2030, although he could leave, we understand, if they're not promoted from the Championship. Speaking exclusively to talkSPORT earlier this week, Bowen's father-in-law, Danny Dyer, hinted to us that the club, at this moment, not really deserving of such a player.
You know, it's been tough for him. I mean, he does deserve Champions League football, and whatever decision he made, I would have supported him, do you know what I mean? But don't think he's going anywhere, son.
Yeah, don't go anywhere, son. If you want to hear the Championship either, we'll have 7 live commentaries for you from the second tier on its opening weekend in 4 weeks' time. To the Open at Royal Birkdale, where Rory McIlroy is not totally certain of playing into the weekend. Hugo Chambray is watching for talkSPORT.
Yeah, a bogey for McIlroy and Fitzpatrick on the par 4 6. They are both back to 2 over par. And it is truly extraordinary golf from the Australian ranked 97th in the world, Lucas Herbert. He's made 7 birdies in his first 11 holes to take a 2-shot lead over the 2021 Open champion Colin Morikawa. Just 2 more birdies for Lucas Herbert will see him shoot the lowest score in Open Championship history. There's live commentary over on talkSPORT 2.
talkSPORT News.
Andy Burnham is set to be confirmed as the Labour leader in the next few minutes. And missing the rain yet, this has been one of the longest dry spells on record. Sinead's back at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. This summer, treat yourself to Bridgestone Turanza All-Season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Well, this is the last day of the really hot weather today, at least in this spell, with temperatures as high as 30 in the south, though cooler by as much as 10 or more degrees in the north. Isolated showers may develop across the south this afternoon and ease into the evening.
US football forecast on talkSPORT with QuickFit, giving your car the magic sponge and water bottle treatment to keep it going this summer. QuickFit, drive away happy every time.
For the final time, let's get all the latest weather over in the States, all thanks to QuickFit. Once again, Stephen Morgan joins us from Fox Weather in New York. Hi, Stephen.
Good afternoon. Hey, it all wraps up this weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a 24-hour storm so we don't have to play that game at all.
In Miami tomorrow. Maybe we should start with that third place playoff. Just get us up to speed with what kind of conditions we can expect.
Yeah, you know, from the forecast yesterday, not much has changed. It could be a little warmer looking at temperatures. Maybe by the start of the game, around 5 o'clock local time, we could have a heat index a little closer to 36, 37 degrees Celsius, or about 99 degrees. It's going to be warm behind me. The actual air temperature, though, a little cooler. It'll be about 31, 32 degrees, so it shouldn't be too bad. It certainly won't be the hottest game that England has played in. I think it should be dry. If we see storms, it's always tough in Florida because we have the influence of the Atlantic. We may have them at the beginning of the match, but as we head deeper into the evening, it will be dry. But I'm not confident that we see much rain. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Now, we just spoke to the former professional footballer Terry Gibson, who got back from New York this morning, and he said yesterday, you could see this sort of smog over the city. People were wearing masks. Some people in New York been asked to stay indoors. Is that likely to impact the final, or are things getting better? These fires in Canada, aren't they? That's related to that.
It's been crazy, Paul. You could taste it outside yesterday. A lot of that smoke stays aloft, about 5,000 to 10,000 feet in the air. But some of that's been mixing down at the surface and even outside. Yeah, a lot of people are wearing masks, and it's actually affected visibility. We've had reduced visibility here for the past couple of days. The good news is that we have a front coming through in New York, and so for the final match on Sunday, the winds should be shifting, and we should have improving conditions. Behind us, I don't know if everybody can see it, but we've got a sunny icon. We no longer have smoke to worry about. I think by Sunday it should improve. Could have a little bit on Saturday, but not too worried about it.
Stephen, it's been a joy chatting to you and Haley and the team over there at Fox Weather in New York during the World Cup. Let's hope we get a chance to run into together in the future. But for now, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Would love that. It's been my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
There we are. Stephen Morgan, a great stalwart during this World Cup on the show, keeping us updated with all the weather. You can get all the latest weather from the World Cup and discuss playing conditions. And that's all thanks to our very good friends at QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
US football forecast on talkSPORT with QuickFit. Like a super sub that keeps your car in the game this summer. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Someone else doing sterling work during this World Cup is our very own Max Scott. Good to see you again, Max, for the final time in this slot.
Yeah, good afternoon.
We asked you to go and check out. We've been asking the talkSPORT listeners just how bitter they are and how they're going to be getting behind Spain during the World Cup. I've stocked up on Rioja and tapas. Viva España, says Nick in Milton Keynes. What else? Jill, our creature of the night, who you heard earlier on, I'm off to Malaga with my Espanol bucket hat. She's getting out of the country to support them.
Go on, Jill.
People are doing all sorts of stuff to get behind Spain, and we wondered the good people of London who they might be getting behind.
Well, I went out to find out, and do you know what? It made me incredibly proud that unanimously, the winner, the people, the nation that the England fans want to win on Sunday is clearly España.
Yeah.
Spain, because Argentinians are dirty cheats.
Spain. I spend a lot of time in Spain, and I don't want Argentina to win after the way they beat England.
I would like Spain to win because I really like going to Spain, and I like the food, and I want them to batter Argentina because I think they were a bit dirty with us, to be honest.
Spain. Argentina just don't deserve it.
They always seem to win with controversy.
Yeah, I'm too heartbroken to Spain. I'm too heartbroken. Oh. Well, now I can't see Argentina win after what happened the other day to us.
Yeah.
It's too painful. So yeah, 100% Spain.
The amount of tackles the other day was awful. Like, there was a rugby tackle, wasn't there, literally? So Spain for the win.
Spain. Because Argentina played rough the other night. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
I think all three of us have been there. You guys far more than I have in the
We've got
past.
mixed views. I mean, I love Argentina, but I don't want them to win the final.
No, but the thing is, the people are lovely. I've only been to Buenos Aires.
Food's great.
Yeah, I've been to Guazú. But yeah, essentially, the people are lovely. The food's great. They love the English.
Yeah.
You have to park what they're like as a football team and the way they scrap and stuff. To what
look,
the country's
I've got family there. This doesn't cloud my judgment of Argentinian people, but when it comes to the football, they can absolutely stuff it.
Yeah,
I hope they get absolutely battered by Spain. And I love the,
won't be happy.
I love the country. I love the people, but particularly it felt quite distasteful with the fouling and the flags and the and Enzo Fernandez generally as an entire being. And I hope to God that Real Madrid don't buy him. I know they've said that they're not, and I hope that's the case so he can get absolute pelters when he comes back to the UK.
I want to say, some of those players, just the sweetness, the salty tears of many of their players at the end of the game if they get beat. It's going to be a joy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be almost as good as England winning the World Cup. That's how resentful I am, and that's how resentful I'm not an island. That's how resentful the people of London are. They unanimously want Spain to win, and good on them.
We all know that Argentina are very difficult to beat.
Yeah.
They are.
You wouldn't back against them. I wouldn't.
Will you be switching off if they win? Will you not watch the trophy lift? It'll be interesting just to see what they're like with Donald Trump. I mean, he'll just be front and centre. He'll be kind of pushing Messi out the way, won't he?
What I'd like to see, and obviously I was dreaming about England doing this, was as soon as they take the trophy off Trump, is to just charge forward, so that he's left behind them.
Yeah.
And almost as if they're sort of lifting it to the fans.
Infantino won't let that happen. They'll be told what they need to do. You can imagine. It'll be such a.
What are the repercussions at that point when you've won it? Is he going to rescind it? I think they should do whatever they can to undermine Infantino.
Now, what you do is increase the tariffs on Argentina. Imagine it.
Well, Milei's
we think we're petty. You want to see him in it.
He likes Argentina.
Yeah, that's the thing. So maybe there'd be pressure from both sides.
Trump will want Argentina to win because of Milei and all that, sort of what they stand for.
Yeah,
and he hates Spain.
He doesn't like it. He's been having a pop at Spain, hasn't he? Because he doesn't like the stuff over the. Was that over the NATO?
Yes,
it's NATO payments.
They didn't allow him to.
They didn't pump enough money into NATO in his eyes. What was I going to say to you? Oh, yes, we're going to ask you to pick your player of the tournament with their good friends at Duracell.
Duracell's Extra Mile on talkSPORT. Different, better, unstoppable.
Big Messi now, isn't he?
Throughout, my favourite player. Throughout the tournament, we have been with good friends at Duracell looking for the players who go the extra mile, the players that bring a game-changing performance and unstoppable power. Max, as a sign-off with us during this World Cup, we'll give you the honour of choosing your player of the tournament.
Well, in the spirit of the conversation we've just had in being as partisan as possible, I know England haven't got to the World Cup final, and it's a crying shame, but it has to be Jude Bellingham. Why? Because I think that despite a concerted effort by a number of journalists to besmirch the great name of Jude Bellingham, suggest that he shouldn't be in this World Cup squad, tried to suggest that he's somehow not a team player or he cares more about Madrid than England. I just think he's been wonderful and he's epitomised the very best of England. And whilst there's been questions about the tactical approach and how good Thomas Tuchel's England side actually are, when needed, at every single opportunity, Jude Bellingham has absolutely delivered. He scored back-to-back braces in a World Cup knockout games, the first person to do it since Diego Maradona. I just think Jude Bellingham represents the greatness of England and also what they can be, with that fight and that swagger and that confidence. And you can call it arrogance, I don't care. I want more Jude Bellingham spirit in this England team. And if it's duplicated, then maybe we can win the Euros or win something in his lifetime.
So what great player doesn't have a bit of arrogance?
Exactly.
You have to. I think you have to.
Exist.
You have to have that in you if you're going to be a truly great player. Well, Max, thank you for your contribution during the World Cup.
It's been a pleasure, fellas.
Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
That was Max's Duracell Extra Mile, you know what I mean, player for the tournament. We're going to have a chat with, what's a Duracell? I don't even want to think about it. Adrian Durham will be joining us building up to the World Cup. He is your host for the final on Sunday night here on Talks. We'll also get his take on Jude. Oh, sorry, I've gone Jude Bellingham mad. On Jared Bowen signing an extension, or certainly
Jared Bellingham.
No, not Jared. Honestly, it's been a long World Cup.
Yes.
Thank you, Max. Aid on Jared Bowen very shortly.
Duracell's Extra Mile on talkSPORT. Different, better, unstoppable.
Seems to be into the fact that it was kind of a premeditated idea by Gabriel Clark to ask a question in a divisive way. You know him, you've done this job, so what did you make of the interview and what do you make of all the fallout from it?
Well, straight after the interviews, I sent Gabriel a text and I said, a masterclass in the art of post-match interviewing. And I would stand by that now. Gabriel's not a sensationalist. He's not out for headlines. He will look you in the eye and ask a straight question. Having been in that situation, I think he might have been slightly surprised when Tuchel came and said we were poor and we didn't do this and we didn't do that. That might have surprised him slightly, and he threw the mentality line in that Tuchel bit his head off about. But those situations, you've got a limited amount of time. There's no way that you're going to go, I'm going to ask him this and wind him up here, and then I'll get Bellingham. And by the way, what a story that's going to be. That's not Gabriel. Gabriel's the best in the business at doing that by a considerable margin and has been for many years. And when Gabriel put it to him, your manager wasn't very happy overall, and he shrugged his shoulders and said, whatever. Fine.
Do you think Gabriel could have qualified it a bit more? Maybe in hindsight, he thinks if he'd said the manager wasn't happy with performance, not in terms of effort, maybe in terms of quality, you can play better than that as a team.
I think you and everyone that's ever asked a question would look back and go, perhaps I could have asked that question a bit better. But in the heat of the moment there, in those bowels, when the adrenaline is still running, it was a straightforward, it was an honest bit of interviewing. It wasn't tricky. And I was thinking about it coming in here. There's been nothing from the England camp.
No drama,
There's been nothing. There's been no fights. There's been no drunks. There's been no women. There's been nothing untoward. And I think a lot of people jumped on this. Here's a bit of division here, Bellingham and Tuchel, etc., etc. There's a bit of history there, and I think it has been blown up out of all proportion.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
Talk Sports Weekend of Epics with the Odyssey. England might not be in a final, but you can still make this weekend epic. Don't miss the cinematic spectacle of the summer. The Odyssey, in cinemas now.
Yes, time to talk England now through the World Cup with Christopher Nolan's epic new film, The Odyssey, in IMAX and cinemas everywhere from today. Your host for the World Cup final, sadly not involved in England, will be Adrian Durham, who joins us now. Hi, Aid.
Hi there, Paul and Andy, live from New York City, where the air is clearing. Let's put it that
that's
way.
good.
We can see behind you.
That's from what Terry Gibson said. When he left yesterday, he kind of noticed it was picking up a bit. But that's good to hear for the finalists. Let's just ask you about Jared Bowen. The news has just come in the last half hour that he's going to stick around at West Ham. It sounds, from the nature of it, that he'll give him one more season and get him out the league, and then maybe get that one big move that's left in his career. But still a decent thing to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is. His setup there is obviously great. He's feeling comfortable. He's the main man at West Ham, and I think he must know that if a very injury hits Bukayo Saka and a very bang average Noni Madueke are ahead of him in the England setup, he's going to struggle to get past them in the next couple of years. So, but that's still possible. 1 year in the Championship, followed by more Premier League football, should West Ham go up, or if he then gets a move away from West Ham, if they don't go up, he might give himself another chance. But I think at his age, he might be looking at it saying, do you know what? I'm actually very comfortable in my life here. I'm on a very good wage here, so I'm going to stay. But I actually feel like the Premier League is missing out. I'm a big fan of Jared Bowen. I really like him. He's dynamic. He makes things happen. I was disappointed that he wasn't in the England squad. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but it's great for the Championship that you've got a star player in there.
Yeah, he would have been handy to have, wouldn't he? I know it's easy in hindsight, but he would have been.
Now, we get the inevitable fallout after a World Cup, and there are reports that one or two of the England players were very surprised that we went ultra defensive in that closing stage of the game. And we were saying earlier on to Stan Collymore that there's a lot of making up to be done by Thomas Tuchel. A lot of people now would have lost trust and belief maybe in his methods, and that would include fans, it would include media, and he's going to have a very prickly time with the media, I guess, over the next 2 years, and maybe some of the players as well, Adrian.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's it's a big moment in his England career. Everything had been okay and judgment had been on hold, but judgment was always going to come with what happened at this World Cup, because he was brought in to win the World Cup. And there's no shame in losing to the reigning champions, Argentina, who've still got a player like Messi, who is the best we'll ever see in our lifetime. But it's the manner in which you lose that game, and that manner was not acceptable. Since then, he's come out and basically said, oh, it's the player's fault, not mine. That's how it could be interpreted. And I think that's not going to go down very well. Certainly doesn't go down well with me, because he's been in the job long enough now, and he should have studied it in remember the 6 months he had off before taking the job? Well, in that time, he should have studied the England DNA. We all know about the England DNA.
Yeah.
Your job, mate, is to come in and change that DNA. And if you can't do it, then off you pop, because you're not welcome. You've got nothing to offer us if you can't change that DNA. And actually, the last couple of games, Norway and Mexico, he's been adhering to that DNA, playing up to that DNA. So if he needed something different, he should have already done something about it in meeting rooms, classrooms, on the training pitch. He's had enough time at this World Cup to really work hard with these players.
I agree with you 100%, Adrian. And what he said in the aftermath, it's almost worse than what he did in the match. And to not admit that he got it wrong, and to blame the DNA when it was his substitutions that told the players how to play.
I think that feeds into how he rebuilds a relationship maybe with the English public and the media and the players, in that a bit of mea culpa, but there is a kind of arrogance, and we were saying earlier on, to be a great player, you've got to have a bit of arrogance. Maybe to be a great manager, as we saw with Jose, you've got to have a bit of arrogance. So I don't know if we're ever going to get that conversation where he sits down and says, yeah, I got it wrong.
No, maybe not. And maybe that is part of elite management, being that arrogant. But if you are arrogant, you've got to be able to back it up. Now, winning the Champions League with Chelsea 5 years ago was terrific. He did very well. Well done to you, mate. But that's not going to help England whatsoever. Some awful performances, but obviously acceptable results in qualifying is fine. There are a couple of friendly results, Japan and Senegal, where we were absolutely terrible in terms of performance, second best, I would say, actually, in terms of performance, and second best in the result as well. But all of that was accepted because what mattered was the World Cup. And there were some positives from this World Cup. There were definitely some moments for England at this World Cup. However, once it came to the crunch, he really let England down badly. To do that, and then to say, oh, it's not me, it's the players, I think is set him back even further. He has a point, though, with the DNA. Where I think we're all aware of this. We're not saying well, this isn't the case. We're absolutely aware of it. Mark Gahey said straight after the game, instantly, the instinct was to go backwards, to defend, to sit deep. He said we became too deep and too passive. And obviously we could all see that with our own eyes. So the players knew it, but that's why they need an elite coach to kind of train them, condition them out of doing that.
Absolutely. Michael Owen said, he went through all the different times with when he was playing for England that they were in front in a game and then they lost, and exactly the same thing. So he said it is in our DNA. But you made the point, Adrian, and you're absolutely right. That's why we hired him.
He's got 2 years to break that cycle, hasn't he now?
Yeah, I mean, he's already wasted nearly a couple of years of that because he clearly hasn't changed any of that DNA. Listen, it's a bit like, say the Saturday show, Round the Grounds on talkSPORT. If I don't prepare properly for that show, it's not going to sound very good. Okay, some people might say that's the case already, but
you're right.
But you've got to prepare for the show. I don't just rock up at a stadium on a Saturday and off the top of my head reel out all that information. Okay, however, what he's done here, he's had all this time to address what's wrong with England, and surely what might have popped up in that preparation, in that research, is the England DNA. So he's had a lot of time to think about how to change it and a lot of time to implement it, particularly at this World Cup. We've been here and England have been here together for, 6 weeks or so. So what have you been doing in that time? What have you been doing since you knew you were getting the job to change that DNA? He knew he was getting the job 2 years ago. So what has he been doing? And when you bear in mind how much he earns, I know we're not allowed to talk about money, and it doesn't matter how much he earns. Well, if I'm offered that kind of salary and I accept that kind of salary, I'm leaving no stone unturned to try and do the job to the best of my ability. I'm certainly not going to have the front to come out after a pathetic, limp capitulation in a World Cup semi-final that we were winning and say, oh, it's in the DNA, as if he's only just discovered that. I think that's really poor from him.
Absolutely.
Finally, Aid, you wound up the Gooners again. You dusted off the Daily Arsenal by suggesting that maybe in their eyes, you said, which is not quite what you said, Arsenal were to blame for us getting knocked out of the World Cup. Any regrets, or are you a bit like Thomas Tuchel? You don't believe in regrets?
Just a little reminder that people are really stupid sometimes. I think I listen, it went out on social media with those words. I didn't write that tweet. It said, Adrian Durham thinks Arsenal are to blame. I actually never said that at all. And actually in the piece, in the little clip, it says, Arsenal have every right to play the players as much as they want. They pay those players. But obviously that got overlooked, and why bother with journalism these days?
Are you saying our social media department like a nice headline like that?
They're well aware of what I think of that piece. Let me put it that way. Yeah. But what I will say is that was a little piece that I threw in at the end of a very long discussion straight after the game about Thomas Tuchel being to blame. So make no mistake, Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are not to blame. No, it is Thomas Tuchel to blame. The players are also to blame as well. On the Arsenal thing was about squad selection. And I picked out Arsenal because Declan Rice had declared himself 100% fit in a TV interview before the game. That clearly wasn't true. And also, Bukayo Saka had sat in a press conference and admitted it was a gamble taking him to the World Cup. Now, back to the first thing we talked about. If I'm Jared Bowen and I'm watching Bukayo Saka sitting there grinning, saying, oh, it's a gamble taking me to the World Cup, I'm thinking, hang on a minute. He could have done something impactful, Jared Bowen, in the semi-final.
He doesn't pick himself, though, does he? I mean, that's not in Saka's control.
But that's not the point. So it's not the Arsenal players' fault. And as I said, Arsenal have every right to play those players. They paid. So it isn't Arsenal's fault. It isn't Arteta's fault. I actually never said it was Arteta or Arsenal's fault.
Yeah.
But I think with team selection, squad selection, Thomas Tuchel has to look at himself. The reason why I brought Arsenal into it was because those two players were specifically quoted as in Declan Rice saying he's 100% fit, Saka saying that it was a gamble to take him. And the question for the players, and it's not having a go at the players, it's a question they need to answer. Notoriously, Arsenal use players a lot. Okay, so Bukayo Saka, 60-odd games when he's carrying an injury. There's other players, Urian Timber, for example, has missed this World Cup. So you're left asking the question, hang on a minute, are they using their players too much? Is it depriving them of going to a tournament and playing to the best of their ability? Those players need to look at themselves. And if they look at themselves and say, I'm happy with that, I'm fine being at Arsenal, no problem whatsoever. If they say to themselves, do you know what? I want to give my country that little bit more. So I'm going to go somewhere to a club that rotates and rests a little bit more just to help the international cause, because I'm sure they all want to win a World Cup.
Yeah.
That was the point I was making.
A club like Peterborough, potentially, if Saka is looking really to have slightly...
we got to go.
Maybe not. Maybe you can ask the posh chairman. I believe he's in on the 10 to 1 show all next week with Alex Crook. So,
that'd be interesting.
I'm going to be an avid listener to that. We had a terrible pre-season last year. We weren't ready for the start of the season, so I'm hoping he's put that right this year.
We look forward to hearing you in action for the final eight. All the best. Thanks very much.
Privileged to be on the show. Thanks, guys.
There's Adrian Darrow over in New York, your host for the World Cup final on Sunday night. That was our look back at England's World Cup journey with the Odyssey. Whilst we don't have England in the World Cup to look forward to on Sunday, you can make this weekend epic with a big screen experience. Check out Christopher Nolan's spectacular new film, The Odyssey, in IMAX and cinemas everywhere from today.
Talk Sports Weekend of Epics with The Odyssey, a spectacular big screen adventure of home and family from Oscar-winning director Christopher Nolan in IMAX and cinemas everywhere now.
Has to go, mate. I'm sorry, Jeff. Like, when we are paying £8 million for a foreign coach to come in and win us our first trophy since 1966, and that's what he does in a semi-final for an Argentinian side that were there for the taking, and to do what he did, 10 times worse than anything Southgate's ever done negatively. I'm sorry, he has to go, mate. Simple as that. The FA have to make a decision, and I just didn't like his interview, the arrogance of his interview. No regrets. Yes, you have got regrets, mate. You've got regrets. There was loads of trouble after the game across the country. Everyone was together. And that's on you, Thomas Tuchel. That's on you. The negativity, cowardly tactics. You can't blame the players. I'm hearing people say, Jeff, that, the players on the pitch have got to make decisions. There's some experience. No, you listen to your coach. Your coach tells you to play a certain formation. You listen to him.
Yeah.
He has to go. Simple as that. No foreign coach ever won the World Cup. Maybe for a reason. We've given it a go now again with a foreign coach, and that's what he's done.
I mean, Alan here has just tested the same sort of thing that you were saying. So Tuchel's shortcomings have been exposed. What about the players' shortcomings? Well, look, the players, we've got 6 defenders on. We've got 4 central defenders on at the end for the cross that Messi puts into Laura Martinez. So, yes, I get that. But ultimately, the can has to be carried by the coach, especially with the negativity. And we all, look, everybody said this, but the negative. Anthony Gordon is flying. We scored a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. You'll have loved, the fact that Kane, Declan Rice, who's soon to come off as well, Morgan Rogers, and a lovely finish to Anthony Gordon. And Gordon's feeling 10 feet tall, so what do? Oh, we'll take him off.
We
know that in history, Pele's a GOAT. He's won the World Cup 3 times, the only man to have done so. But let me tell you about the one he didn't win, and that made him quit World Cups for good. Ahead of the 1966 World Cup in England, Brazil were favourites again. They won in both 58 and 62, meaning a historic three-peat was on. But their opponents all had plans to stop Pele. Bulgaria set a trend in the first group game. The instruction? Take Brazil's main man out of the game. Pele came away so battered and bruised he couldn't even take part in Brazil's next match against Hungary, which they lost. He returned for the next one against Portugal, but they channeled their inner Bulgaria. This is one of numerous brutal challenges throughout the 90s. Remember, this was pre-substitution, so Pele had to hobble on before being carried off at the end. It's even tough to look at now. Brazil lost and were out in the group stage. Speaking years later, Pele still had sore memories. At the time, he said he'd never play at the World Cup again. FIFA responded by introducing subs and red and yellow cards. Pele did come back in 1970 as part of the greatest team in World Cup history.
The So Good moment of the day on talkSPORT with Meantime. talkSPORT have teamed up with Meantime to create So Good lager for the World Cup. Available now at all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports bars in the UK. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Time once again for our So Good moment of the day with Meantime. Of course, there were no games yesterday, so we've decided to go for our So Good moment of the tournament. One of those real highs of the tournament for us, and I suppose it'd have to be Jude Bellingham and one of the best goals we scored in this tournament, which was the first goal against Norway. Let's relive it now.
England on the front foot here. Gordon, that's better. Bellingham taking it on. Bellingham, yes, 1-1. England out of nothing, back on level terms before half-time. Well, he wants to be the next James Bond. There, he was the man with the golden run.
Yeah, lovely feat. We're all so full of hope at that point, weren't we? So there we are. That was our So Good moment of the tournament with Meantime. talkSPORT have teamed up with Meantime to create So Good lager for the World Cup. Available now at all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports bars in the UK. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly.
The So Good moment of the day on talkSPORT with Meantime. talkSPORT have teamed up with Meantime to create So Good lager for the World Cup. Available now at all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports bars in the UK. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
talkSPORT clips of the week.
Time for the clips of the week. Andy, why don't you get us underway today?
Yes. And we kick off today with early breakfast. Laura Kirk-Francis.
Lots of players are saying that they're looking forward to playing Lionel Messi. John Stones has told Sport Talk.
That's it. Pork Sports Walk. It's our new name. That's the Butcher's Channel. It's
yeah, tremendous.
Fantastic. Here's former referee Chris Foy discussing one of England's unlikely heroes.
I think the other one that I found interesting, I think there's a 50-50 split on this, was the penalty award on DJ Ed Spence.
Yeah, DJ Ed Spence.
Yeah, I heard him in Ibiza. It was tremendous.
Oh, he's DJ Ed Spence you're thinking of. He's a completely different bloke, yeah.
This is Max Rushton with a good recovery.
I think France and Spain are looking at that going, whichever one of us wins this, look at that look at the rabble.
Yeah, good recovery.
Close.
Very close, Max. Talking of Max's, Max Scott now on the price of getting Argentina over to England for a friendly.
And with everyone wanting Messi and the world champions to come to town, they charge between 3 and 4 million quid to play them. And because they're on the other side of the world, logistically and commercially, the FA have basically decided, well, we're not forking out for that.
Well, I think we know England are forking out, don't we, really? But maybe they're not. Maybe they're not prepared to spend that money. Anyway, Andy.
And this is Natalie Sawyer with an interesting fact.
Something I've noticed, and I'm sure you've all noticed whilst we've been here, and we've covered a lot of France games, we have to say, they always set their balls up in a letter F.
I wouldn't open with it,
No.
Natalie, to be honest. Yeah.
I hadn't noticed.
I can't see Jerry Seinfeld buying that one off you. I hadn't noticed, though. Fair play. It's an interesting fact. Time now for the talkSPORT Caller of the Week.
The thing is about Dan Burn is he's Dan Burn, do you know what I mean? But
talkSPORT Caller of the Week.
Dan Burn's Dan Burn. I
can't argue with that.
The World Cup in a nutshell.
Here's manager Sean Dyche recalling his days at Turf Moor.
I lost big players. Well, you know, relatively big players. You've got to remember in Burnley's journey, there were probably always... Burnley was like a big stepping stone. We knew that. You know, Michael Keane's a good example.
Yeah, my name is Michael Keane.
Same old
I play for Everton.
Yeah.
Next up, Shaban Ahern on breakfast, chatting to the Wimbledon wildcard sensation, Arthur Ferry.
Gonna have to move on and get ready for.
How do you switch off? Do you play tennis? Or
Sorry?
When you switch off?
When I switch off.
Because when we go on holiday, I might have a little go at tennis.
Would be a bit like you taking a microphone and broadcasting while you're on holiday, Shaban. You haven't really thought that through.
Not at all.
Really. Well, I like a game of tennis. But if you're a tennis player, not really a way to switch off.
Not really, no.
We've all done
it. Golf correspondent Rupert Bell now getting emotional over Alex Fitzpatrick at the Open.
Stunning start for Alex Fitzpatrick, only playing in his second Open, but of course he's had a breakthrough year, winning in America, and he's won subsequently, and he had a back-to-back birdies and to get to 2 under par.
He loves those birdies, doesn't he? Oh, God, I can't believe
So
he got
many
so many bogeys. This is a bit of an eggy moment in a call to the sports bar.
Jonathan, the Villa fan, has called up. Good morning, John.
Hey,
You all right,
good morning,
matey?
guys. How you doing?
All Hello, good, John. All good.
Yeah, huge win.
Massive.
Hell of a beating. I'm calling in today.
Yeah, a little bit eggy.
Didn't really pick up on that.
Slightly hung him out to dry, the boys there, didn't they? Yeah, a bit of a shame. Next, Andy.
It's Jim White, who's so football.
He's so football.
Even when he's talking about music.
FIFA has declined to confirm the total expected length of the break at the final on Sunday. Madonna, Justin Bieber, Shaqiri.
I don't know what kind of voice he's got, the former Stoke and Switzerland front man.
They'll have to raise the height of the microphone. A very small man.
He was a very tiny man.
He's stocky.
And finally, it's another caller talking England.
If the England players who are listening, don't feel the weight of this country on your shoulders, you've got the wing, but you've got where the wind's beneath your arms, with the hands beneath your feet holding you up. We're all there for you.
I'm not sure that is the lyrics, but actually, Andy, maybe we are all a bit down. Maybe that's the way we should go out of these World Cup clips with a bit of a sing-song. So it'd be nice maybe if you join in with us and we'll sing that version of the song. That would be nice. But you get the idea. You all know the words, don't you? Let's see those arms. Not if you're driving. Don't use a lighter. Do you ever know that you're my hero?
Hero.
And everything I would like to be. Everybody! 'Cause I can fly higher than an eagle. 'Cause you are the wind beneath your arms, beneath your hands, beneath your feet. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining in. Glyn Barrington.
That was a single.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. Glyn Barrington, Nick Ellaby, Ben Green, Billy Cook, Roger in Durham, Bob in Essex, DJ Ed, Dave Clark, Michael Fawcett, Stuart Armour, Doogie the Jambo in Edinburgh, and our own Aaron Clifford. All suggested clips that were played this week. If you hear a clip on talkSPORT over the next week, please send it in to us. talksport.com, text to 81089. Tweet to TSH&J, 0371722. Now, why am I giving you the phone number? You can't send it to a phone number. TSH&J, that'll do. Email, text or tweet it to us. Give us a day and a time when you heard it go out. And if it's played, we'll give you a credit like those guys. So there we are. We're going to close up today and indeed for the World Cup, chatting to one of the stalwarts of the tournament, Steve Bruce, the former Newcastle and Villa manager, Manchester United centre-half. We'll get his thoughts on Jared Bowen. That's been the news of the last hour. He's sticking around at West Ham to get him out the Championship, which I'm sure West Ham fans are delighted with. And we'll also talk a bit of England and being under the cosh as a manager, which I think is fair to say Thomas Tuchel is currently. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
I wonder whether he went back, muscle memory, whether he's gone back to what happened against Mexico, where we dealt with 5 at the back and they threw things at. But this ain't Mexico.
There's 20 minutes left.
It's
20 minutes of normal time, Jace.
It's more than that.
And we had a man sent off against Mexico. You could almost accept it.
I know.
You're playing against Argentina.
Yeah.
You can't sit off for 25 minutes against Argentina. He absolutely bottled it. Thomas Tuchel's cost us the World Cup. He cost us the World Cup. We're 1-0 up. Played well first half. All right, cagey affair. We go 1-0 up. Be brave. Be brave, Thomas. This is what we brought you in for. We brought you in for this moment. We got rid of Southgate because he bottled it, because he weren't brave. We brought you in for now to make that decision. We're 1-0 up in a World Cup semi-final. Bring on Rashford. Bring on Saka. And if they score, they score. But at least we're going to go down fighting. At least we're going to go down with some pride. We fell out of the World Cup in disgrace because of him. Because of him. And we brought him in for this job. This is what we brought him in for, to get us over this line. And it's the same old England, same old crap, same old guff that I have to watch every tournament that we're in. And it's the manager's tucked us up again. Tucked us up. We're dead on our feet. Got Morgan Rogers playing right wing, Jude Bellingham on the left. Brings on Nico O'Reilly. We can't get out. Harry Kane's done nothing. He's dead. Nothing. Got nothing left.
I don't.
I can't believe it, Jace.
Well, no.
Jace, I can't believe it.
No,
it's a disgrace. He should be sacked. Get him out. Gone.
I totally agree. I can't believe that we've moved on from Southgate. And it was, if you...
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Yes, just before we chat to Steve Bruce, going to look back on the latest episode of Inside England with BetMGM, Ollie, Clink, Flex and CJ, the deluded gooner, react to England's dismal defeat to Argentina that saw them exit the World Cup. In this snippet, Flex calls for Tuchel to go.
Thomas Tuchel needs to be fired. There's no, he either needs to resign or he needs to be fired. I'm not even that guy. I'm not normally this guy. I've advocated for him. My hands are up. I feel catfished by Thomas Tuchel.
You don't love him, man.
He's done everything he told me he wouldn't do. There's that clip circulating from when he was sitting down, depicting and breaking down why we exited Euro 2024. You know what he said? What was missing? Freedom of expression, excitement.
Where was that?
England were too scared to lose rather than going to show that they wanted to be in the competition. Basically saying, I'm the guy to bring that. I bought into that. We bought into that. We've buckled on principles, according to some, for this moment, for him to get us over the line and be proactive in that moment. You can lose against the world champions. You can lose against the team that possesses the best player to ever play the game. No problem. Not in that manner. We went out like absolute chumps. And that is why, I'm sorry, that's a sackable offence.
There we are. Flex off his long run.
A lot of people feel like that.
That's true.
And the lack of contrition makes it worse.
Well, don't forget you can watch all the latest Inside Series episodes live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. That's all thanks to BetMGM 18+, begambleaware.org.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, gambleaware.org.
What's it like to be a manager under the cosh? I'd like to point out he didn't spend his whole career under the cosh. There were many highs, but every manager has to have those lows. Steve Bruce, former Newcastle Villa manager, joins us now. Hello, Steve.
Good morning. How are you, lads?
Yeah, good, thanks,
Good,
Steve.
thanks. As part of the managers' union, Thomas Tuchel, it's his turn in the barrel, as the saying goes at the moment. What's it like being in the firing line, Steve?
Well, the one thing I think I said it to you 5-6 weeks ago, as an ex-manager or former manager, whatever you like to put it, you study of the substitutions that various managers make to change the game, change the way we play or whatever. And I study obviously the substitutions and why did he do this and why did he do that, and of course he's left himself open with it because of the changes that he did make so early. We all knew there was going to be at least 10 minutes of extra time, in injury time, sorry, or whatever you want to call it. I think we were all a little bit shocked that he made it. However, the 2 games previous, we've done similar things. I know we were down to 10 men against Mexico, and against Norway we were hanging on a little bit, if we're being brutally honest. And I think it's the way, obviously, we ended up the game where something like 12% possession in the last 30 minutes of the game is quite astonishing, really, when you think of the quality that we have got in the squad. But obviously he's made a change very, very early, and it's really, really backfired on him.
Well, I mean, it kind of worked against Norway because Haaland had more or less gone off, and they're not as good a team as Argentina. No. And it worked against, and we had to do it against Mexico because we had 10 men. But to try and survive like that with no outball, Steve, for 35 minutes against a team as good as Argentina and a team that had come back in so many games, didn't, on the face of it, make a lot of sense. Did you feel that watching it?
Yeah, I think he's opened himself up to the criticism. I was interested to hear him say about the DNA of English football, where we're not like the Spanish or the Brazilians or the Argentinians, where it's all about possession and about possession of the ball. But I thought that's why he was brought into the job, to introduce that sort of style. You know, Pep Guardiola, for example, would you know fine well that he would transform the way that the team would play. And I really honestly thought that Tuchel, if you can remember even the first game, what we were involved in, he wasn't happy the way we played and said, we've got to play with the freedom, we've got to play with this, and we've got to do that with the other. And you were quite taken aback by it because they won handsomely. However, look, he's made the call. I think we're all scratching our heads a little bit. As I said, 12% possession for 35 minutes is quite remarkable, really, with the standard of players we had.
Everyone makes mistakes, Steve, in their life, in their jobs and all this thing. I mean, you must have had this situation. Have you ever, after a match, hold your hands up and say, yeah, that was down to me? And would you expect Thomas Tuchel to do this?
Oh yeah, many, many, many times. I mean, look, you hope you don't make too many big blunders because ultimately that's what costs you the job. It's your responsibility to pick the team, and then obviously your concentration levels during the game to make the changes. And of course, how many times have we heard it? You don't know what you're doing and all the rest of it, and you've made a call. And sometimes you have to stick your hands up and say, do you know what it is? I got it wrong. But I also have to say the mindset of the players really too is, soon as we scored, I mean, there was probably 10, 12 minutes before you made the change. And even when we scored straight away with the team that we had on originally, who had done so well for an hour, they sort of had a mindset as to say, okay, let's retreat and sit back and take it on the chin and see if we can defend. And it was just unfortunate, but really disappointing. I'm like everybody else, totally disappointed with it.
Just a quick one on Jared Bowen. Is staying at West Ham. It's been announced in the last hour, Steve. He's going to give I think he's got an improved contract, and his contract runs out in 2030, but you do sense that he'll give him one more year, look to get him back in the Premier League. I mean, he's 29. He's probably got one more big move in him. He maybe still has that a year down the line, and I'm sure he's being paid handsomely to stick around for another year. But are you surprised at that, Steve?
Listen, it's well done him. He's thought long and obviously hard about playing in the Championship again. You know, I know Jared very, very well. It doesn't surprise me. He's that sort of character. And he's frightened stiff of his father-in-law as well, who's a big West Ham fan, isn't he?
Absolutely.
And I think his wife might have had something to do with it too. But yeah, fair play to him. When we talk about players being greedy and this, that and the other, he's going to try and stick around and see if he can get West Ham back where they want to be, obviously, and that's in the Premier League.
Steve, it's been a pleasure as always.
Thanks, Steve,
chatting
so
to you
much.
during the World Cup.
Yeah.
We'll catch up with you, I'm sure, before too long. Enjoy the rest of your summer. All the best.
Thanks ever so much, lads. Speak soon.
There's Steve Bruce there, former Manchester United defender and Newcastle and Villa manager. Well, that is us for the World Cup.
Is it done?
We're done. We're not done, of course, because we were hoping to be involved in the England victory parade on Monday and Tuesday. So we'll be back with you on Monday, but in our regular slot, we'll swap back with Jim and Simon. So we'll be with you from 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock. If you've enjoyed being with us and you're not able to swing by at 1 o'clock, we have a daily podcast, the H&J Daily Podcast, so you can keep up with the show if you've enjoyed what you've heard. And you can get that from the talkSPORT app or indeed wherever you get your podcast. So good luck to England. I suppose a bronze medal is better than no medals at all, ish. That one's live on talkSPORT from 10 tomorrow night. Hopefully some of the
Come
boys,
on, Spain.
Hopefully some of the boys will get a game. Yeah, some of the listeners, they've really gone for it. Dan, the village idiot, says, I've suggested a fancy dress party. Everybody going as characters from the old soap El Dorado. Wife is going to be Fizz. I'll be Bunny.
Okay.
Nice one. We'll catch up with you Monday from 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Enjoy the final. Enjoy the football and more and golf here on talkSPORT. Have a good weekend. Now we get the inevitable